Back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the PiGosaur Cup. PiGosaur Cup number 40, your weekly dose of PiGosaur action. I'm, of course, your VIP, with you and joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all, to our weekly broadcast. Welcome to the round of 32, exclamation mark be in the chat because we're going to catch up on the bracket itself. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we'll be going over the bracket momentarily, but first we have our first series, we have our first matchup as we jump into our TVZ, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have our red Terran player representing Insane Master Killers. It is Havertz. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg player himself. It is a crispy Jotun. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our first matchup, bearing in mind that these are more amateur players as well. I believe Crispy Jotun is more around the leagues of gold to platinum. Meanwhile, Havertz is more of a masters player, but he's off racing. He's off racing for this to make the MMR a little bit closer here in skill. Coming into this, Havertz is going to be the favorite player, but best of luck to Crispy. Best of luck. I've never casted either of these players before, but I'm ready to be introduced. I'm familiar with the team Insane Master Killers. They're typically a Latin American team, so I think Havertz is a Latin American player. Actually, I could just double check. Hold on. I can try to double check here. So look him up. Otherwise, we're settling in. Otherwise, they're settling into our first game here, settling into our initial best of. For now, we do have our hatch gas pool, standard opener out of a crispy. Likewise, Havertz going for his own standard opener as well. Nothing crazy, nothing too wild, not yet. So I'm just looking it up. Right, yeah, sorry, I think I might have actually casted Havertz. He played in HSL. Yeah, he played in the Hispanic StarCraft League. In my mind, he's Peruvian. Is he? Let me just double check. No, not Peruvian. He is Bolivian, pap. Yeah, there we go. From Bolivia, pap. Yeah, I love to see it. Love to see it. So it is the Bolivian Zerg player off racing as Terran. Let's go. Okay, actually, wait. Can I look up who Crispy is? I may just ask him after this game. Yeah, I'll ask him after this game. But all good. For now, we're going to be settling into our game. So far, again, standard openers all around. Rack to expand into factory. Likewise, the cool gas opener out of Havertz. Likewise, across the map, Crispy Jotun going for his own hatch gas pool. Oh, did skip Blink production though. Did skip Links. Reaper does dip in. A drone's going to be going down, and without Links to defend, yeah, just some greed here out of Crispy. He gets punished for it. One drone, two drones going to be going down. Two workers do fall. The queen pops out. Third drone does fall, and with that, Havertz does take a massive lead. Well, I say massive lead. Does take a lead here in the game. Does get 3 drone kills. Reaper does survive. The queens will keep the bases safe, but again, Havertz also better than again. Crispy did delay his link production in favor of more drones. Again, was just a little bit too greedy there. Did get punished. Likewise, the third base is a little bit late. So late third base here out of our Zerg player. Brutal supply block as well. We're going for a very early Bailey nest. Okay, much earlier than usual. Now, I would assume that this would be for a Bane bust to commit to an all-in, just because of how early it is, but as I mentioned before, Crispy is more of an amateur player, or more of still a growing player, if you will, and this might just be this might just be Crispy overreacting and being overly safe. We'll see what he does do with said Bailing Nest. As Crispy does take his third, gonna be delayed, and the drone, oh my god, does survive. Thank God. Does survive, is going to be thrown down. We have 10 more Lings in production. Behind this, we have a standard follow-up here, 1-1-1. I say standard, this is more of an aggressive follow-up here. 1-1-1 into a second racks before third CC. Very committed on 2 bases. If a Crispy were to commit to an all-in, then there will be plenty to defend. Hellies are amassing, Banshees are on the way. There's no safety bunker, there's no safety wall-off. Likewise, Havertz is in the dark as he did lose his Reaper, so he's working with incomplete information. But there we go, he's now moving out across the map, and we are rushing into a lair. So as we had assumed, this Bailey nest, it looks like it was more of like a reaction Bailey nest, more of like a panic Bailey nest. In the end, this isn't going to help too much. Lings, they move out across the map. The wall is open. Hellions are across the map, which means these Lings, they can flood in. Yeah, they can flood into the bases. They get a full surround here on the Marine. They go for the SCVs as well, and we're going for a pseudo base trade. Lings, they will wreak havoc here at the natural. At the same time, Hellions are busting into the mineral line, and drones are going to be going down. Oof. Yeah, workers are getting roasted at the same time, so are the SCVs. Oh, nice body working with the queen. Two of the Hellions do get caught out. The other two Hellions do bust into the main base. More drones going to be falling, and we have more Lings in production, but he needs more time. Oh no, and the drones are lining up. The drones are lining up. So far, 7, soon to be 8, soon to be 9 drone kills at the same time. Lings, they did wrap up everything here at the natural, even canceling the CC. Yes, it was a cancel, not a kill. Did kill 2 depots, but with that, Havertz defends. Havertz, he does defend across the map. Likewise, so does Crispy. Azadar settles 20 drones to 27 SCVs. Bearing in mind that mules are also a factor, so Havertz is in a better economic position, but Crispy has the potential to drone and to saturate. Another important thing here, I'm hoping he recognized the Banshee, right? The Lings were harassing across the map. The Lings, they saw the Banshee, but do we have a reaction? No spores. No spores. Cloak is done. 0 detection here for Crispy, and again, he's making a panic wave of 10 Banelings. This would be amazing to bust across the map, to actually bust into the main and try to kill his opponent, but defensively, this won't really help too much. In a way, this is wasted resources. This could have been drones. This could have been spores. Banshees are about to hit the bases here, and right now, Crispy is exposed, is vulnerable. The pants are down. Pants are currently down, and again, he has to make, ideally you want to make use of this army, and honestly, if he were to move out across the map with this, if he surrounded the Hellions, he could kill. That's a big if though. Again, these Hellions have a lot of kiting potential. If Havertz reacts in time, he can pull away, he can kite back, and he can roast up the Ling Bane. Speaking of Banshees, they do hit the third base, and the Banshees that don't actually get eyes on the Banelings, but the Queen does go down. Thankfully, there's a spore at the natural, but no spore at the third. No spore at the third base. How quickly does Crispy John react? Banelings are amassing. I keep saying crazy. How quickly does Havertz react is the question. Oh, as he does fully wall off. Yeah, it does wall off. We've missed that window. We missed that timing. There was an opportunity to go in before the wall was done. You know, Banshees, they do hit the third base. They catch 3 more drones. They're going for the expansion. Here comes the main. The wall's not a wall. Yeah, the wall's not a wall, but Hellions, they do rush past. Yeah, they flood into the bases. SCV is going to be going down, but at the same time, the Hellions, they will clean up. Yeah, they will clean this up. If he had gotten surrounded, then maybe. At the same time, the Lings, they still get a lot of SCV kills. They get surrounded on one of the Hellions. On another as well, there's one Hellion left, but there are not enough Zerglings here. I say that he does get us all the final Hellion. No kiting! Yeah, no kiting. Hellions go down and Marines go down. 13 more SCV kills. It's getting messy. We're getting messy, man. We're getting messy. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, the micro. The pickup. Oh, no! He had pickup micro, I should say. As there we go, the Lings are going to be cleaned up. Behind this 34 SCVs here for Havertz, meanwhile 37 drones for Crispy. Lost a third. He lost a third expansion. The hatchery did go down. Again, the spore here at the third base was too late. It was too little too late. Behind this, he's almost up to full 2-base saturation. Doesn't have his gases, of course. He's banking up gas as a result, whether it's going to Evo Chambers or going to a Hydrogen or a Roach Warren. Something needs to be done here with that gas. There it is. Evo Chambers going to be on the way. Bailing speed has not yet begun, so we're missing bailing speed. Yeah, Christie's macro is suffering. Oh, but he does catch the Banshee. Okay, Banshee does go down. Again, his macro is slipping. We gotta spend our money, Papi. Spend our money. Bailing speed. Por favor. We have the lair. Is going a Ling Hydra. Okay, setting up a Ling Hydra composition. Still needs that third base to get up and running. The game's still getting very intense. Now we have some drones on the way. How many Lings do we have? Ooh, only 8. Only 8 Zerglings. Marines are getting into the bases. Stim is done. A 1-1 is done as well. The upgrades are looking decent here for Havertz. He does not have combat shields, but that may not matter. As he stims into the bases. No Queen in the main. Oh no, that was just trying to inject. And the Queens are going down. The drones are going down. Lings, they're late to react. They're out of position. And even as they come in, Marines, they can still trade efficiently. And Crispy, he was making a game out of this for sure, but now Havertz is getting further ahead. He's stabilized, he's on 42 workers. Remember, he has mules, he has a third CC, he's building up his bio tank. Now claiming his third base. Oh, Jesus. The slow banes. As he has not yet noticed that he doesn't have bathing speed, unfortunately. I mean, even with bathing speed, it's going to be a tough hold here for Crispy. Havertz is moving out. Brings a sim in. Havertz is pushing forward. Again, without bathing speed, he can kite quite nicely against this kind of army. On the flip side, there's no combat shields for Havertz, so sure his bio army is a little bit weaker than it otherwise could be. And he does get himself some Marines, not bad. A couple of Marines go down, drop into the main. It's going to be a tough hold here for Havertz. Yeah, very tough hold. Marines are in position. Does pick up, does pull away. Tank is in position as well. Likewise, Marines, no, they get into the mineral line and is just being pulled apart. Crispy cannot keep up. Not like this. The spore goes down, the mineral line goes down, the hatchery is going to go down. And a half HP. Double drop into the main. Marines are being cleaned up. Being cleaned up. We do have the Bailey that's going down, and this should be the nail in the coffin. At this point, I mean, there are plenty of Baileys here, so it looks like this army can be dealt with, but there's still just so much working against Crispy. It's an uphill battle. It has been for a while. Again, he made the game messy, and he was able to hold his own for a while economically, but the longer the game went on, the worse it was. Now here it comes, the main army. And who needs combat shields? Who needs it? We'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Savage does push onto creep. Crispy being turned away. Harris still sim in. Yeah, sims in, does focus on the banelings. We don't get any connections, and GG gets called. With that Havertz, he will take a lead in the series. He will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a very intense back and forth here. Closer than I would have thought, to be honest. I'll be honest here again. As we'll do, I want to get wind it back a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, considering the kind of MMR gap between the players, Crispy, he was able to hold his own. He was able to cause havoc. He was able to force mistakes and even get damage done across the map. It was impressive. It was an impressive play there for my Zerg player again, despite that disparity. And now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Getting into game 2. So here we go. So getting to the next game. And game 2 is going to be on ley lines. Just catching up the chat. Oh, shout out to Checo in the chat. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Chiquito. Yo, shout out to Khaled as well. Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos. Como siempre. As always. So here we go. And again, I hope to see more of Havertz in the future in regards to the next HSL. I know there are plans to run the next Hispanic StarCraft League around like November-ish, like end of the year, after of course EWC, after Esports World Cup. So do look forward to it. But here we go. We're getting to that second game, and we'll see if we can have a bit of a back and forth here. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Leylands, we have our Bolivian Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Insane Master Killers. It is Havertz. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. It is a Crispy Jotun. Go. Oh, he's so crispy. Ah, beautiful. As again, last game, Havertz, he did go for a more aggressive build. He went for a 1-1-1 into a second racks before third CC, so a very aggressive start here out of our Terran player. We saw that, thankfully, because of the, I guess, safe nature or more even panic nature of Crispy, he was able to keep up when it came to the first wave of aggression, was able to get past the first wave of Hellions as well, but there were a couple of key moments here that really did hinder him. The big one, of course, was late spores. Late spores meant, I mean, he lost the first third. The third base did go down to the first Banshee because there were no spores, there was no detection, there was nothing to defend, so that was a big oversight there from Crispy. That meant that he had really a lot of limitations when it came to recovering in that game. The start of the game as well, if you recall, where he did skip out in the early links, so he was punished early on, and he did lose 3 drones to the first Reaper, so that also kind of out of the bat here, he did kind of stumble his way out, but we'll see how he does tighten things up. See how he does perform in game 2. We go. As we have our initial racks expand. Overload moves out. And oh, we do mix things up here. So remember, last game we had a 1-1-1 out of Havertz. This time we have a 2-1-1. We have a second racks on the way. I'm assuming a 2-1-1 with a factory into a starport. Technically, this could be a 3 racks, and we could throw down the third racks and go into a heavy stim timing instead. But leaning more towards factory. Meanwhile, the first Reaper gets across the map. Once again, no Zerglings to defend. Oh no! The surround! It does get a surround, and he does not. No, he barely does not pull off the surround. The Reaper breaks free, and the Reaper gets 1, gets 2 drone kills. The Queen is about to pop. The Queen may get the finishing blow. Ooh, does take down the Reaper. Technically, this was a cleaner defense than last game, but still a little bit dirty. Was better than last game, but still less than ideal. Again, once again, punished for skipping his Zerglings. Once again, losing 2 drones. Losing 2 drones at the start of the game. Behind this, meanwhile, it is not a 2-on-1. Hey, it's what we kind of mentioned before that it could be. 3 racks. Third racks has been thrown down. This is going to be very committed timing here with Stim, with Combat Shields, with Mass Marine. This can hit very, very hard, and this is a much more aggressive timing here from our Terran player as he delays the factory and he delays the starport in favor of Stim and in favor of Mass Marine. So much more aggressive start here. The downside of this is, of course, no Hellions. What does that mean? That means no harassment potential and no scouting either, right? He lost the Reaper, he has no Hellions, he has no presence on the map. So if Crispy Jotun were to go for a Roach Warren, if he were to cut workers early and go for a Roach all-in, then it would go completely unscouted. Or if he went for a Bane all-in, also go unscouted as well. So there's a risk in doing this kind of build just because he's playing blind. When I say he, Havertz is playing blind. Crispy, he's unaware though, and he is he's droning. Doesn't look like he plans on being too aggressive yet. I say that he's got 10 more Zerglings in production here. He has limited vision across the map, so he's making them for safety. We'll see how he makes use of this, or if he does just drone from here. Once again, late third. Late third base out of Crispy. Lair is on the way. Really early lair timing. If this was any other player, I would assume this is an early lair for like a Nidus all-in, or maybe like a German Taxi, or maybe 2-base Muta. But as I mentioned before, like this might just be early lair just to get it, and just to go for maybe early bailing speed. We'll see how he does make use of this army. Meanwhile, Lynx they get across the map, but there's a full wall this time. Yeah, there's a full wall of Marines. They hold well. They defend. And this is hurting Crispy. The links that he made. Again, because now all these links, at least half of them, could have been drones. They could have been workers. We could have had a greater economy here. Currently, these Zerglings aren't really achieving too much. And Havertz, he's just building up towards 1 big timing. Stim is almost done. Combat Shield's almost done. Looks like we're waiting for a couple of tanks. Looks like we're going to be waiting for the reactor to medevacs here before pushing. No boy. Back at him, Crispy, he's unaware, so he's getting spores. Based on what he's seen, he should recognize that he doesn't need them. Basically, he saw Mass Marine and he saw 0 Hellions, and he knows that there's no Hellions on the map, so he can infer it's not a 1-1-1. He can infer that there are no Banshees on the way, but he is playing safe nonetheless, and he's getting his spores. I mean, after the last game, I don't blame him. Don't blame him. I did lose a base because of the Banshees in game 1. But these are going to be less of a factor coming into game number 2. Lair is done. As we had assumed, the lair was just to get the lair. This is something that happens quite often at low levels, where you feel the need to get tech just to have it, just to get it, because you know you need it later. But here in StarCraft, it's a game of efficiency, and unfortunately, getting the lair this early on didn't really achieve anything, right? We're not doing anything with the lair. We're not throwing down a Spire. We're not throwing down a Hydra. We're not throwing down a Fixation Pit. We're not getting upgrades. So the earlier lair was kind of a waste of money here, and could have meant more drones, could have meant a macro hatchery, another expansion. More queens, true. I mean, more queens would have been the big one, just because it was taking up the hatchery production. And here we go. We have our double drop here towards the main. We see Crispy trying to get in position. Once again, just like last game, we have the lair. Where is the bailing speed, baby? Aye, aye, aye. So, not the strongest Link Bane force he could have. But Havertz, he is pushing forward, and we'll see if we can catch him out. Like, right, depending on the reaction time of the Terran player, he could still be caught up at Link Bane. He does try to collapse. Oh, no, no! Does collapse in, and he will catch a couple of Marines. Does pick up a couple. Catching a couple more. Not bad. Not bad here from the side of the Zerg. Meanwhile, I spoke about the strong timing that the Terran had. He didn't push, right? He has all these Marines, he has all these tanks, he has these reinforcements, and he doesn't push. He only moves out with a double drop. That is fortunate for Crispy, considering the third CC is late, right? This is a very delayed third base for the Terran in favor of this army that he's not making use of either. So we have some inefficiencies from both sides, which means Crispy, he can recover here. He can recover, he can bounce back. He's getting into 1-1 upgrades, into bailing speed. Ooh, but he does miss this drop. Queen goes down. Drone's going to be going down as well. These are going to be brutal losses here for the Zerg. Yeah, 6 workers go down. Now Crispy has to re-drone and re-expand. Also, the creep is lacking. There's no active tumors. That is going to make it more difficult to engage and more difficult to scout move-outs, scout drop play, and keep up with the Terran army. Once again, though, Havertz, he's not pushing with his tanks. He's only going for drop play. And this will give the opportunity for Crispy to actually keep up with the drops and keep up with the army. Double drop into the main base, Lings, they respond. At the same time, we have Link Bane rolling out across the map. But there are tanks to defend. They're already pre-sieged. And here comes that double drop. Making his way towards the third. Crispy getting ready for his own push. But pushing into pre-siege tanks is not going to be easy. And speaking of, does try to bust in. Widowmines are about to borrow. Oh, Mines is about to go off. Brutal connections. Yeah, the mines, they pop off. They shut down the Link Bane. With that, Havertz, he defends. At the same time, he attacks across the map, knocks down the third base, gets into the natural. Drone's going to be falling all over the place here. Everything's on fire. And looks like the natural's going to be safe, but he will lose to both queens. Yeah, both queens go down for Crispy. GG gets called. And Havertz, he will claim the series. And it was a good match. It was a good match. GG. And Havertz will take it 2-0, advancing on to the round of 16. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Havertz. Again, he did come in as the favored player, just purely based off of MMR. But a shout out to Crispy because he was able to hold his own. He was able to have his own moments, his own opportunities. It was impressive to see him kind of stand up to Havertz here in the TVZ matchup. GG. GG, well played. Again, unfortunately, there were definitely a lot of pitfalls there that a lot of amateur players do kind of fall into when it comes to teching too quickly, when it comes to taking gases too early, or delaying your own expansions, delaying your own droning as well, not knowing when and where to drone, and not knowing when it's safe to do so, when it's not safe to do so. That is definitely something to learn and something to gain when it comes to improving at the game and improving at StarCraft, for sure. And I'm sure Crispy is on his way. I'm sure he's on his way there to improvement. GG, well played. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Havertz, he will advance on to the next round to face off against his next opponent. And his next opponent has been lying in wait. GG. GG, well played. He will advance on to the next round to face off against his next opponent. Has been lying in wait. Let's catch up. Let's go. Exclamation mark. Be in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves. As for for MaxPax in the round 16. Meanwhile, we have Ray. Ray is, I feel like is that Zesty? Recognize. But up against its next opponents here in the round 16 as well. We do have Gerald. Gerald is up against Geo Metro in the round 16. We have Percival. Percival takes down Yedmi 2-0. Percival already in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, we have Takua does advance on the face against ByuN. We do have Akedon taking down Teardrop 2-0. We just got an update. Droltimus takes down Leroy. Havertz takes down Crispy, and the entirety of the round of 32 has concluded. Yeah, the round 32 has concluded. Now we can focus on the round of 16. And we're going to be following Havertz into Shameless. Shameless, of course, is one of the up-and-coming players in Europe, in the European region. He's going to be favored to have a deep run here in the tournament, and we'll see if Havertz can bring it to Shameless. Let's go. Let us go. We are going to be getting ready. And as you can imagine, the reason why we did focus on the lower half of the bracket here is to eventually catch up on these lower bracket players. So again, we have the potential Shameless versus Astrea in the quarterfinals, into ByuN in the semis. So that's kind of the trajectory that we're going for, that we're going into. The other option would have been Gerald into Percival into MaxPax for sure, which would have also been another exciting kind of route to try to focus on. But you know, we're going to be focusing on the lower half of the bracket instead. That is where our attention does lie. Here we go. I see in the chats. Oh, was down for like 10 seconds. Oh, I do apologize. Looks like the stream went down for a moment. I see Crispy in the chat. Este, Crispy, papi. Ay. Let's go. Let's go. Was in the chat as well. But yeah, I do recommend checking out the VODs. You played well. You played well, papi. You played well. GG. But I do apologize for the stream going down. I didn't notice, but it looks like it went down for a moment or two. Feels bad, man. As we're getting into ley lines here for game number 1. Here we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next series. Our fresh best of 3. Oh boy. And Havertz did well for himself in the previous series, but now he's switching to his main race, and now he's going up against one of the favorites to make a deep run in the tournament. Oh boy, it's not going to be easy. Let's see what he can bring to the table. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have our blue Protoss player. We have our blue Protoss himself representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg player himself representing Insane Master Killers from the land of Bolivia. It is Havertz. Here we go. Our ZVP has begun. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Havertz now switching to his main race. This is where he is at his strongest. At the same time, though, Shameless, he is coming in as one of the stronger players in Europe, one of the stronger Protoss players in Europe. I should emphasize Shameless. He's relatively new to the scene. He did hit the pro scene, I want to say, beginning of 2024. So has been active for over a year at this point, but has excelled and has kind of shot up in those Protoss rankings in Europe quite heavily. And nowadays, yeah, he is a grinder. He does compete in a lot of tournaments, and we'll see. We'll see how far he can go. Oh boy, this will be another big challenge here for Havertz. As of now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of our Zerg player, Probe does dip in. We should be seeing a standard opener out of Shameless. Now, when it comes to Shameless' style and how Shameless does perform, typically we expect to see some standard openers into the mid game. He's not really one to be too aggressive and too assertive early on. That's not really his style. More of a mid to late game kind of player here as he throws down the spray, as he sets up the Cybercore. If you remember, he's known for his sprays. That's why we were able to identify Shameless early on in the Anonymous Cup. Like, as soon as Shameless appeared, we're like, no, yeah, it's Shameless. God damn it. It's the Shameless. Just because of the sprays. It was now, I think 2 months ago. I think 2 months ago at this point. Stay crispy. Also, yeah, if you want to tune into the VODs are available on Twitch. The VODs are also here on YouTube. You can always rewind on YouTube as well. I don't think the stream went down on YouTube, so thankfully that has been perfectly smooth over on the YouTubes. If you want to check out the VOD. Otherwise, settling in. Stargate opener out of Shameless. Going for a standard opener back at home. Havertz shakes down or does take down the probe. Joining on up, claiming a starbase. Oh no! A little bit off center here. The nerve's going to be kicking in here for Havertz. Is forced to cancel. And rebuild. Okay, calm down, Bobby. Calm down. Take a breath. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. As from here, Shameless has two options. You can go for an Oracle-based opener or a Void Ray. We're expecting an Oracle out of our Protoss player. Keep an eye on Shameless. As things do dip in, Oracle is on the way. Up. Gets a probe, not bad. Gets a worker, slips into the main, and it looks like he will barely get a glimpse of the tech. There we go, is where the Stargate, is where the Oracle as well. So nice scouting here by Havertz. Scouting. Back at home, spores are on the way. From here, droning on up, saturating. We are missing additional queens, though, I just realized. Only 2 queens, no 3rd queen, no 4th queen either, so a very low queen count here. Likewise, missing the spore in the main base. The longer this goes on, I mean, this Oracle can get a lot done. As there are limited queens and only the 1 spore at the natural. Oracle goes in. Yeah, it does see weakness, does go for the mid-run. You can see the double take. Like Shameless, he poked in, notice no spore, notice no queen. He goes back in, 4 drawing kills, nice damage with the first Oracle. And nice damage here from Shameless. Second Oracle's moving in. Behind this, Twilight Council, Gateway Explosion. Ooh, that is a bit of an earlier council here out of Shameless. We'll see if he throws down a Forge. If not, he could go into Glaives. As things they do hit the 3rd. Going for the pylon. The pylon is going to go down. Not bad. Takes down the pylon. Safety Roach Warren here out of Havertz. I say Safety Roach Warren. He might commit a little bit harder. As that upside do shade into the main. They get 1 drone. They get 2. They're getting 3 towards the end. And Havertz is not droning. He's not droning. You can see here, 0 saturation as 3rd base, limited saturation in the main. We have Lings on the way, we have Roaches on the way. He's going for the all-in. That now makes sense. So it now makes sense why the Roach one was so early. He's committing. For a moment, I thought it was just for safety, but no safety whatsoever. We're sending it. And Shameless really recognized what's going on. Gets Revelation. Hasn't really confirmed yet. Shield batteries on the way. Oracles are racing back home. Does rotate through the center. And looks like he will come across the Roaches the ACs. He sees, he knows, he checks saturation. 0 joins at the 3rd. Now he's fully aware. Now he's 100% aware what's going on. And he needs to come back home. Now, we need him back home. So here comes the Roach Ravager. Oracle's going into the main. I mean, I guess he can kill these drones. True. Oh, Revelation. Here comes the army. And Shameless, I feel like he's been underreacting. Like, he saw the lack of workers, but it might not have clicked. Might not have clicked. Cybercore under fire. Lady Roach going for the Cybercore. Cybercore does go down, and no more Stalkers. Only Zealot reinforcements. And Shameless is in trouble. The Oracles, they race back home. They focus on the first Ravager. They get 1, they get 2, they're going to get all 3. That's target firing here out of Shameless. Very nice. Does target fire. Blink is done. He does blink back. Takes out the Zerglings, takes out the Ravagers, and Shameless holds. Whew. Shameless, he will hold on. But again, a bit of a shaky defense here. He lost the Cybercore, he's losing some probes. He's going to be losing some Stalkers. But overall, Havertz does not do enough. He does not do enough damage here. He gets some damage done, that is true, but remember, he had no workers. He was undersaturated in the main base. He's on 31 workers. That's 1.5 bases, really. And he needed more. Needed more damage. He was all in. And when you go all in, you're all in for a reason. There's just not much behind this to keep going. Shameless is pushing. Now, Havertz, he could try to maybe force a base trade or maybe force a recall back home, just to buy some time. There is a chance for that. Lings hit the natural. Oracles, they turn back around. Lings, they do not get in. And Shameless, he's committing. And there's not much at home to defend. Lings are racing back home, though, thankfully. Lings are racing back. Catch out the Zerglings, at the same time reinforcements almost put out as well. Oh, the stasis, no! The stasis goes off, does catch all the Zerglings. Now there is nothing to defend. There's a couple of Lings trickling in. There's a couple of Queens that are pulling back as well. But he goes to the dive. Shameless, he will focus down those Queens. 1, 2, 3 Queens go down. Lings, they do get some decent service area, but that's what the Oracles are for. And GG gets called. Shameless, he will take aim at number 1. Whew. GG. Shameless, he will take a lead. I will say that he did underreact. It looks like maybe Shameless wasn't looking at the third base when he scouted, so he only had 1 shield battery at the third base. He had no shield battery at the natural. He had, I almost want to say, the bare minimum to defend, but he did defend. It is what's important. At the end of the day, he did defend. He raced back home with the Oracles. He focused down the Ravagers. He had good enough blink control with his Stalkers, and even though he bled out some units, it was acceptable losses there for Shameless. GG. Whew, GG, well played. And here we go. We're now getting into our next game. So hold on. I just realized that there we go. Shameless does take a lead. Now we're getting into the second game. Sack the third. No, you can defend against those all-ins at the third base. It's all good. It's all good. You can pull off those defenses. I mean, it would be more secure if you had a bit of a stronger shield battery setup, of course. Don't get me wrong. Here we go. I think against a German taxi, you'd be more willing to sack the third base for sure. Like a more committed all-in. But here we go, we're getting into the next game, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the player for Little Fairies, leading the series 1-0, and 1 game away from advancing on to the next round. It is a Shameless. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself, representing Insane Master Killers from the land of Bolivia. It is Havertz. Go. And we'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. Our eyes are going to be on our Zerg player here. Do we go for another all-in? Now, what I will say is that Incorporeal is a bit of a larger map, longer rushes, spike round. I'm not too fond of all-ins on this map, but we'll see what Havertz has up his sleeve. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Sal, Gab. I mean, thank you so much for the raid to Uppertree. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. And I have one question for you. I look at the bracket today. Hold on. Hold on. I look at this bracket. Where is Sal? where is my Sal, papi? Ay. Uppertree. But good to see you. Good to see you, papi. Hope you had a good time. Hope you had a good stream. Good to see you back. As for now, we have our initial openers. Shameless does get across the map, just forcing some inefficiencies here out of Havertz. It's poking in. Denying some mining time. Behind this, should be seeing a Stargate base opener out of our Protoss. As Havertz does go for his hatch a gas pool. And Queen production underway. Also, chance to get you in the chat. See Mr. Big. Zelensvad as well. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Buenos días, buenos días. Buenos días. As Havertz invests into Link Speed, does pull out a gas, so we're not rushing into any kind of early tank. Nothing crazy. Speaking of nothing crazy, though, I assumed it was going to be a Stargate. My apologies. Twilight Council. Twilight Council opener out of Shameless. He's being hyper-aggressive here. Going into what? From here, he can go into Glaive Adepts. He can go into a Glaive Adept-based opener. He can go into Dark Templar instead. Our eyes are going to be on the Protoss. Havertz is going in for the Scout, and the Stalker will not intercept. Yeah, the Stalker will miss. Overlord goes in, and Havertz, he will see everything. He will see the Twilight Council and the Rover. Big Scout here for the Zerg. Meanwhile, you can see only 2 and 2, so he does pull out a gas. So Shameless is going for Glaives. He's going into Glaive Adepts here. Otherwise, he would have stayed further in gas, which would be indicative of a Dark Shrine. Overlord's going to be hunted down. Once it is, then we can start those upgrades. As Glaives have begun. It's going to be 4-gate Glaives here out of Shameless. Bearing in mind, this is not an all-in. There are all-in variations. If you pull back into gas 6 and 6, you can throw down extra gateways and go to like a 6-gate, 2-base all-in. But from here, we're staying on 4 gates, which means Shameless does plan on expanding. Regardless, Havertz he at least scouted, and we should soon be seeing a Roach Warren. We should be seeing a Roach Warren in a couple of seconds. The longer this game goes on without a Roach Warren, the more I'm going to be a little bit concerned here for Havertz. Remember, he saw everything. Like, he saw the tech. He saw the lack of Stargate. He knows that something is coming his way. Ooh, he's getting safety spores. This is just in case it's going to be Dark Templar, but we need that Roach Warren. We're at 4 minutes. We should be seeing it. And if we're only going to defend with purely Link Queen, it's possible, but it's going to be difficult. Very difficult as he's droning up. I mean, you can drone up to 40. Evo Chamber. This might just be a misread. Havertz, okay, now he's walling up. He does fully wall off his natural. But I'm still very concerned. Bearing in mind that the Prism can just load up and go into the bases. Likewise, Adepts, they're going for the Queens. Remember, it's only Links to defend, so you can just fight the Links as well. He can kill everything. Yeah, oh god. He can just focus out the army. Instead, he's going for the wall. Going for another warp in, and there's just nothing. There's no Banelings, there's no Roaches. The Roach Warden is being focused down, so there will never be Roaches. That's a kill, not a cancel. And yeah, just a big misread here from Havertz. He saw the tech, he saw the opener, the Overlord saw everything he needed to. But the response was just not there. It was just not there. As these Adepts have gone out of control. Prism taking a lot of damage at least, and the Prism does go down, but there are enough Adepts. There's more than enough. GG gets called, and Shameless, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played. With that, Shameless, he will claim the series. He will advance on to the next round. And my condolences to Havertz. He did well for himself making it this far. And hey, he had a spicy build in game number 1 as well. But unfortunately, again, it does feel like he either misread or underreacted to the tech that he had seen here in game 2. And with that, Shameless does overwhelm. GG. Does punish, I should say. Does punish. GG, well played. With that, Shameless, let's take the series. And with that, we're getting into the rest of our matches. Just catching up with the chat. ByuN versus MaxPax Invitational. Not at all. If you're unfamiliar with StarCraft, you might not be familiar with some of the names in today's brackets. But we do have some big players here that can keep up and can shut down some players like MaxPax and ByuN. I think Astrea is a big example of that. If you haven't been watching StarCraft as of late, Astrea has been having a winning record against MaxPax, and he's been having some of the best PvT in the world as well. Astrea recently beating players like players like ByuN, and also forcing Clem to the ace match. Like, Astrea's PvT has been terrifying. it's been a scary matchup. Specifically his late game, specifically Astrea's late game has been terrifying. So yeah, he's going to be a strong contender here as well. So because of that, there is still going to be some clutch competition here between the players. I also don't want to gloss over Gerald. Gerald, he can also excel. So can Percival. If you recall, we were casting the Galaxy Open last night, and who did Percival beat? He beat Classic. He beat Classic here in that series. So Percival, specifically his PvT is dangerous, or his TvP I should say is dangerous. If you've been following his matches, you will know that Percival is hyper aggressive. He's hyper aggressive in the terms of his Protoss matchup, and because of that, he can cause upsets. I would not say that Percival's favored against Geralt and favored against MaxPax, but he can cause upsets. And speaking of, I believe Percival did actually take down Geralt during, was it Sparkling Tunic Cup this week? Let's see. Sparkling Tunic Cup this week. Let's have a look here. I remember Percival, he took down a big name this weekend. STC 97? Yeah, there you go. God, so we're not crazy. But if you're watching Sparkling Tunic Cup this week, then you would know that Percival, he defeated Art and Geralt in that tournament. So again, he's also a player that can threaten a lot of these players. Threaten a lot of these bigger names. Percival, he's an animal. Specifically in PvT, for sure. Here we go. As our players are getting ready. As the players are getting ready and Vitas are underway as we have some updates. Oh, the round of 16 is wrapping up. Okay, as we have MaxPax waiting for his next opponent in the next round. We have Gerald. Gerald is up against Percival, of course, in the second round as well, or in the quarterfinals. Akedon takes down Teardrop, ByuN takes down Takua, and we have ByuN versus Akedon. We have Astrea now up against Shameless in the next round as well. That's our next series. That is our next series. That is going to be our next matchup. Vetoes are underway. Astrea's record versus ByuN is basically as good as his record versus MaxPax. Basically 50-50. Yeah, for sure. Shameless wants to look serious versus ByuN. For sure, yeah, Shameless, he's also a player that can, spike up. Obviously, we would say that Shameless, he's still kind of, climbing the ranks and still gaining skill. He's still a very solid player, but against some of these bigger names, he needs to be, on point. He needs to be at his best to take down a player like Astrea. I'm not saying he can't, but, again, Shameless, the pressure is on. The pressure is on Shameless. And I believe he can take it to Astrea. We'll see. We'll see what he has in store for him. Let's go. Let's go. But until then, we're going to be going on a short break. We're going to be going on a short break here. When we come back, again, it should be a very short break. When we come back, we'll have Astrea versus Shameless. And again, we're going to be following this lower bracket quarterfinals match into the lower semis, then in towards the grand finals. Depending on how fast or how slow our matches are, we might be able to catch the upper semis as well. We might be able to get there. But for the time being, we're going to be focusing here on quarterfinals, into semis, into finals. Bit of a faster bracket so far, but we're getting there. Until then, we're going to be going on a short break, and we'll see you guys soon in a couple of minutes with our next series. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, hope you enjoyed that lovely Brutal OST as we have returned. We've returned here with... We've returned with our first quarterfinals match, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Leylines, we have our American Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. It is Astrea. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. Yo. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is? It's Gamba time. It's Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chats as we jump into our PvP. Coming into this, Astrea is going to be stepping in as the favorite player, but at this stage of the bracket, the big names are now facing off against each other. The big names, the GMs, the pro players are now facing off, and Shameless does have it in him to bring Astrea down, to make a series, to maybe even take the series as well. Here we go. So we'll see how he does hold his own. We'll see how our players do approach this. So far, two gate opener out of Astrea here at the top of the rift. Meanwhile, Shameless going for the gate cyber expand, or even just straight up gate expand. Not what I expected. Okay, economic opener out of Shameless. So gate into cyber core. We do see Shameless is going to be cutting some corners here. Meanwhile, Astrea does move out with the Probe Scout, and with said Probe Scout, he can then decide to commit and respond with an all-in. It's going to be up to as Jesus, as yeah, we do have the Nexus already being thrown down. Astrea will scout, and Astrea, he will have to respond. Does he respond with his own greed? Does he respond with an all-in? My eyes are on this pylon. Yep, on this probe. We're going for the all-in. Let's go. So one base all-in out of Astrea. Shameless back at home. Again, this is even greedier than what MaxPax does. MaxPax, he goes gate, cyber, double gas, stargate into a Nexus. Here we saw gate, cyber into Nexus off of one gas. So again, later tech, greedier build here by Shameless makes it even more difficult to defend against these all-ins. The pylon is done, and the gateway has been thrown down. So we have two gates at home, one gate across the map. From here, we can afford to throw down a fourth gateway. So, yep, actually, my apologies, not a fourth gateway. 3 gates into a proxy robo, and the Adept will confirm. Yeah, the Adept does scout, the Adept does confirm. Shameless now aware of the all-in that's in his face. He responds with his own gateway explosion, throwing down 2 more gates. He has a 3-gate setup himself. But again, it's going to be a tough hold here for Shameless, as Stalkers are moving out across the map as we speak. Warp Gate is halfway done here for Astrea. It's being chronoed. It's going to be up to Shameless here to hold on. Astrea does poke forward. Shield batteries are on the way. We have 2 shield batteries here on the low ground. There's 2 shield batteries, one of them taking a lot of hits already. Ooh, forcing a cancel is too far forward. Oh, the sentry! No, the sentry barely survives. Whew, it's very close. Clutch pull back there by Shameless, saves the sentry. Does hold on to those force fields. Meanwhile, the proxy's getting up running. We have the prism on the way. We have more soldiers on the way as well. We're still rallying across the map. Warp Gate is about to finish. And Shameless being bullied further back. Here's our Warp Gate now kicking in. Warping in Stalkers. He will lose 1 sentry. Oh, nice force field. He locks down 2 Stalkers. Not bad. He gets 1, and he will get the other. The prism is just a couple seconds too late. 2 Stalkers go down. Big pick off there for Shameless. But he's still up against 7 Stalkers, and it might just be too much. It might just be too much here. The juggling is on point. The shield battery's out of energy. There's 1 more shield battery behind this. We have 2 more on the way. Down to 1 more on the way. Oof, the sentry goes down. Again, that prism just adds so much micro potential. Saving all the Stalkers. Oh, I spoke too soon. 1 Stalker does go down. Stalkers are getting very low. Stalkers are getting low. Oof, that's a kill, no cancel. Astrea still trying to force his way in. These shield barriers, they've been putting a lot of work. They've been putting a lot of work here. More shield barriers on the way. Shadows to the Archer's pylon. Oof, as he takes out another Stalker, and Shameless, he's holding. Okay. He is holding on. The shield barriers, they're finishing up in time. And if he can get himself with this proxy, if he can get himself with this pylon, then Shameless, he can shut down the all-in. Can shut Astrea down. Again, it's close. The Immortal's almost out. The Immortal will swing things in Astrea's favor. He will then have the momentum, or he will have, I should say, just more DPS potential. And that Immortal's going to be a big power spike here for Astrea. Stalker counts are neck and neck. Oh, Astrea dropping into the main. Does attempt to drop in. It doesn't quite force field in time. Has to pull away. Cheeky move super from Astrea. The Prism taking a lot of damage. Sentries have loaded up. He does go for the foot. Oh, doesn't quite get it. Yeah, doesn't get the force field. Doesn't get close enough. Shameless, he's holding. He's holding. Does get 1, 2 Stalkers. 3. Oh, almost 3. Almost 3 Stalker kills, and Shameless has done it. At this point, Shameless. Oh, the force field! Does force field the ramp. Does knock down the Stalkers. Okay, best case scenario here for Astrea. Does lock them away. Do we have another force field? Does he have one more? Ooh, Sentry goes down. Yeah, Sentry goes down. No more force fields, but now he adds 2 Immortals. I try to force his way in, but nah, there's too much. There's too much here. Shameless, he shuts this down. Breaks through the Stalkers. GG gets called, and Shameless, he takes game at number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Again, a very intense game here. Shameless, he barely bought enough time. He had like 6 shield barriers on low ground without Autosis pylon. Like, it was very dedicated, very intense. He barely did get them up and running. Again, Astrea, he barely didn't break through the first sentry, barely didn't get on top of the shield batteries. He did have some of his own moments, of course, when it came to juggling back and forth between the main and the natural, but he had a really hard time kind of angling his prism and getting that force field up and getting those sentries closer. You could see that he wanted to force field the ramp earlier. He wanted to try to dive into the main, but he couldn't find an opening. Shameless, he was on top of those rotations. GG, well played. He was on top of it. And with that, Shameless does defend, he does survive, and Shameless now takes a 1-0 lead. Let's go. And Shameless, he is 1 game away from claiming the series and advancing on to those semis. Oh boy. Meanwhile, the pressure is now on Astrea. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can recover. We'll see how our players do open up. Up next, I mean, the map is going to be a big factor. Welcome one and all to Ultra Love. Ultra Love is one of the smaller maps of the map pool, shorter rush distance by ground, but specifically for PvP it plays an important role because on Ultra Love we have a ramp at the natural, so we often see Phoenix Wars. We often see economic openers. We'll get into it. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss, the American Protoss, down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is Astrea. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the third Protoss player himself, representing Team Little Fairy, leading the series 1-0. It is Shameless. We go. Pylon does have a tasteless friend. True. Did have a second Pylon. Behind this, we do have our setup here. As we did mention, specifically on Ultra Love, there is a ramp. There's a ramp coming into the natural on both sides because that low ground setups are common, gate cyber expands are common, and I should also mention Stargate openers are very standard on Ultra Love. If both players open Stargates, then we should be headed towards Phoenix Wars. Now, you can deviate away from that. You can try to maybe even sometimes open Stargate, then go for a fast Twilight Council and go into Blink and go into a Blink follow-up for an all-in. Like, there are certain builds that you can try to embrace, but for the most part, Stargate play is more standard. So we'll keep an eye on our players here. So far, both players are on patrol. They're on patrol. They're in position. There we go. Here comes the Cybercore. And again, we're here to block the expansion and to force out the Zealot. So the Zealot has to pop out here to deal with that probe, to deal with the pylon. So Zealot production has begun. And because of the pylon block, it often does force the Stargate. Just because you cannot expand. Is often the case. There it is, a pylon here from Astrea. Shameless, he doesn't go for the pylon block. Not yet. He cancels! He's going for it. Oh, he does cancel the Zealot. He's going for it, but alas, Astrea, he gets punished. No, he has the money. He has the money for it. He gets punished. Ay. Brutal position here for Astrea. As we can throw down the pylon, and Astrea, his build is going to be delayed. Yeah, brutal delay here. If you notice, basically Astrea, because the probe was in the main base, he canceled the Zealot to try to sneak out a Nexus. But it didn't work out. It didn't work out. The probe got here in time. In the end, he got punished. Stargate's on the way for Shameless, and Astrea, his build is inefficient as a result. Did make the Stalker. Again, you can see he's banking up gas, banking up minerals. He can now expand. But a bit of a shakier start here for Astrea. but he did refuse to throw down the Stargate. So from here, Astrea, he can take up into a Twilight Council. He can go into a ground focus army instead. As the Stargate is now done, and Shameless, he can go for the Oracle. So the Oracle's going to be on the way. And I do prefer Shameless's position here. If you compare the timings of the bases, they're quite similar to each other. Astrea's is faster by a couple of seconds, but only by a couple of seconds here. Meanwhile, Shameless, he will have the opportunity to wreak havoc with the Stargate with the Oracle. So he's forcing a reaction out of Astrea. Astrea, he needs the shield battery, needs the anti-air, going for the Twilight Council. And Shameless, he should be able to scout and confirm. Good target fire on those immortals too, for sure, 100%, for sure. As the Oracle does poke in, gets a probe, checks the low ground, has yet to confirm the tech in the main, does see the Stalkers, but doesn't see much else yet. There we go, pokes in, research complete. Does confirm the Twilight Council. Blink is begun here for Astrea, and you can see Blink about to begin here for Shameless as well. There it is, Blink is on the way. So from here, Shameless, he backs off, he rotates. He's throwing out additional gateways here, getting up to a 3-gate setup. So very safe play here by Shameless. And it looks like from here he will expand. Yeah, he'll expand, he'll get a third. Right now the pressure is more so on Astrea. And do you see what I see? I see 2 gateways on the low ground, and I see 2 gateways on the high ground. 4-gate Blink Stalker and a Robo as well. Much more dedicated play here from Astrea, much more committed on 2 bases. With this, he can turn this into a 2-base all-in. He can go for a 2-base all-in. Remember, instead of the additional gateway, instead of the additional Robo, Shameless expands. So Shameless will have that, he'll have the faster third, he'll have the greater economy, and Astrea may never even expand. He may never even take a third. Now, right now, it's on Shameless to figure out what's going on. He pokes in, he gets Revelation, he hasn't seen the gates. He doesn't know the gateway count, but you can see he checks both third locations. He sees no expansion. That is a tell. That is a tell that something is wrong. That is a tell that he needs shield batteries and defensive warpins. Shameless, he's looking for proxies. He's fanning out his units. We do have a delayed third here from Astrea. But again, the Stalkers have been warping in, and here comes the push. Again, Astrea, he's up in production, he's up in Stalkers. He has a Prism to reinforce. He's pushing. And he's elite spotted. Oh my god! Jeez, the Prism takes a lot of damage, but does not go down. Shameless pulls away. Does pull away, but doesn't engage ahead of time. Nice to Prism! Prism goes down. Nice Force Fields does punish. Does take down 2 Stalkers, but a better sniper from Shameless. He will delay the warp-ins, delay the reinforcements, and Shameless, sorry, Astrea, he's rebuilding. And now he's forced to expand. I don't think he wanted to. I think he was 2-base all in, but now he throws down a 3rd base. Very late third from Astrea. The prison's being rebuilt. And things are looking bleak here for Astrea. Oh no, does he notice? He should. There we go. Observers in position. Oh no, he blinks in, stays to the face, and the Shameless, he will shut him down. He will completely shut this down. A brutal stasis. He saw one, didn't see the other, and Shameless, he can go for the kill. He can go for the kill, he can go for the throat. He can't overwhelm. Get some more warp-ins, Pappy. Keep going. How many hits is he on? 4. He's on 4 gateways himself. Turns back around, gonna catch out this army. Yeah, picking up more Stalkers. And these are just brutal losses here for Astrea. He's down in economy, down in army. Everything just went south this game. And Shameless, he's been popping off. Very impressive play here out of Shameless. Oracle into the natural. More probes going to be going down. Catching out 10 workers. Oh god, the stasis goes off once again. Prism goes down. Astrea, Pappy. Yo, he's doing his best hero impression. True. Feels stasis traps, man. GG gets called, and Shameless, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semifinals and getting the win over Astrea. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Very impressive play there by Shameless. Again, Shameless, he came in as the underdog. We have seen him take maps and he can take series off of Astrea, but again, he had to be at his best here. And Astrea, he was slipping up. He was slipping up here and there. Game 1 was more of a stronger defense from Shameless, of course, where he was able to bolster his defense and do his best MaxPax impression. It was really impressive defense in Game 1 from Shameless. Game 2, we saw Shameless capitalizing on some mistakes from Astrea. We pointed out a couple of key moments with Astrea canceling his Zealot and not being able to get his Nexus in time, so his opener was already shaky. He already had a shaky opener. Likewise, he did go for it, committed 2 base play with 4 gates, but his Prism got caught out as well. On top of that, the Oracle was able to get more damage, able to get more scouting. The Oracle allowed for the stasis traps as well. That Oracle was arguably the MVP of the entire game with the amount of economic damage and with the stasis traps as well, all thanks to the Stargate opener, all thanks to the early game as well. Like, it all comes back to the early game, so just so much went right there for Shameless. GG. GG, well played. Whew. Shameless does take the series, and now let's catch up on the rest of the bracket. Oh boy. Here we go. Let us catch up. Yes, I was actually about to mention that. I see someone asking in the chat, why is Pig not streaming his own cup? If Pig isn't live at the moment, then most likely it is because, if you are unaware, Pig, he's about to be a pappy. He's about to be a pappy. Pig, he announced like a month ago, maybe 2 months. Like, time flies this year. But a couple of months ago, Pig announced that that yes, like his wife is pregnant, and they're expecting a baby. I don't think they've said like the gender of the child or anything, or the baby or anything like that. But yes, which is also why he emphasized that. That's also why they've actually they've actually had to like go to the hospital from time to time here and there just to make sure everything's okay. Or at times, Pig has been looking after his wife as well, like due to morning sickness, due to of course other things like occurring in real life. Like sometimes, the stream has to take a back seat, and the cast has to take a back seat in favor of looking after his family. So fully understandable. So if you don't see Pig streaming or don't see him casting when he usually is, you can expect it is related to that. Looking after Dots. Hope all as well. Yeah, I mean, he might just be taking the day to look after Dots and to make sure everything's all good. But yes, GG all played. And with that, we now have the lower semis. Jesus. We've been blazing through the bracket. We have lower semis. ByuN takes down Akedon 2-0. Now we have ByuN versus Shameless coming up next here on the channel. Vetoes are underway, and we will soon dive on in. We'll soon dive in. Vetoes are underway, so we do need a moment here to set up. There's gonna be a little piglet in the world soon. True. For now, though, we are going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll have a next series. We'll have ByuN versus Shameless. The other matches that are currently ongoing, we have MaxPax, he's currently mid-series. We have Gerald versus Percival, also mid-series as well. If our lower semis is fast enough, we might be able to catch the upper semis as well. But for now, we're focusing on the lower semis and into the final. So we at least have 2 series remaining, maybe 2.5 series remaining. So we're kind of nearing the tail end of the broadcast. Nearing the tail end. Again, just some really fast games today. Really fast games, really fast matches. But we'll see you soon after the break. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, hydrate all of your hydras, and we'll see you soon after the break. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Los Semifinales, here to the semi-finals of the ByuN Cup number 40. Again, it's been a bit of a shorter broadcast here. We've been blazing our way through the round of 32, 16, and quarterfinals as well. Now we've made it to our top 4 players, and we already had a crazy upset. Shameless just took down Astrea, and now we have our TVP. We have our semis. We have our first best of 5 of the broadcast. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of torches, we have the blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Max Killer himself, the Red Protoss. Representing Team Little Fairy, it is Shameless. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our Terran versus Protoss matchup. Let's go. Double gas. Okay, first things first, double gas open out of ByuN. But before we get into the double gas, before we get into the more tech-heavy start out of our Terran player, welcome one and all to Torches. Torches is one of the more aggressive, one of the more unorthodox maps in the map pool. You can go for a lot of all-ins. There are a lot of cheeky builds and cheeky plays you can go for because of the short rush distance by air, short rush distance by ground, the gold minerals, the gold bases, the tumors that expire over time, the healing pad, more gold bases as well, inaccessible main base as there's no Reaper Cliff, but also we do have a bit of a larger natural. Like there's just so much that comes into this, so much that comes into play, which is why we often don't see this map in shorter series, but here in the best of 5, we get more maps, we get more games, we get to experience Torches. Oh boy, let's go. Let us go. Also, during the break, a big shout out to G Knights in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Thank you. Do appreciate the support. I hope you enjoy the casting, the content, and the StarCraft. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it. I saw someone asking about Percival as well. I mean, we can get into him, especially if he is able to make it to the semis. But Percival, he came back to the game at the end of last year, around like October, November-ish of last year. He came back to StarCraft, and he has been devoting and dedicating a lot of time to streaming and to improving, to laddering, and he has been very active this year specifically, this year, 2025. And over the past couple of months, like all that practice has been paying off, and he's been excelling in regards to his results. Over the past couple of months, his results have been getting better and better, so he's been having deeper runs in this tournaments. So don't blame you if maybe you haven't noticed him just because maybe his tournament runs have been ending earlier, have been ending more prematurely, but now he's been making these deeper runs into quarterfinals, into semifinals, and sometimes even into grand finals as well. As ByuN does get into the mineral line, so far 1 probe does go down, he gets 1, he is going for 2, yeah, does get a second probe, and can he get 3? We can get 3 probes do go down, 4 probes even, Reapers do fall, and checking the vision, ByuN, what did he see? He did not get eyes on the tech, but the Hellion does hit the natural, just hyper aggression out of ByuN, throwing everything away, getting another probe, and another 6 workers. Hellion will finally go down, as he does get behind the mineral. Yep, does scout, does confirm the Twilight Council, does confirm Blink, does confirm himself to Stargates. Meanwhile, across the map, remember ByuN, he went for the faster double gases, faster factory into a 1-1-1. It's going to be Tech Lab into Cyclone, and we'll see if he goes for a Winter Mine. We'll see if he goes for an add-on swap. We'll see what the follow-up is. There it is, add-on swap. So add-on swap at Tech Lab on the starboard. This can lead into Banshee play. But now waiting for the drop. Percival has been very vocal in his thoughts about TVP. I can't say I blame him. Yes, unfortunately, Percival has been, he's got his own, he's got his own kind of challenges to overcome, unfortunately. Fun fact, despite him being vocal about TVP, it's his best matchup, 100%. Like, I would say his strongest matchup is TVP. Percival, he's been known to cry, unfortunately, about and balance wine. But hopefully he grows out of it. As ByuN does pull away. Jesus, that's a 4 HP medevac. Jesus. I respect it. That's nice. I don't. Oh, God. As from here, Getting into zone 3-1 on follow-up here, getting into Stim. Stim is on the way. And ByuN is moving out. We were curious earlier if we were going to go for the add-on swap into Banshee. The answer is no. Add-on swap into Stim. Stim is on the way. ByuN does push. Oh boy, and this can hit quite hard. Shameless, sure, his third base is secure, but what about his natural? Shameless, he doesn't see the move out. He doesn't scout the move out. He's not quite in position. Does have to take the shield battery. But ByuN is moving in. Not going to be deflected. Shameless holding his own, going for the tank. Oh! Does get some hits off. Oh. Gets a Marine. Here it does pull away. Here it does pull away. ByuN is going to be deflected. ByuN going to be expanding towards Shameless, towards his opponent. On the one hand, ByuN, his earlier timing didn't really hit. It was going to be a more ByuN-esque push pre-Stim, but now the upgrades are about to kick in. Stim, combat shields +1 as well. The upgrades are on the horizon. And ByuN, even though his push was deflected, he didn't really lose much. Looking at his unit lost tab, he lost 1 Marine. Lost 1 Marine. So the move out here is still going to be quite powerful for ByuN. Getting a CC, soon to be expanding, soon to be moving out. So chat, who is this Shameless person? If you maybe haven't been watching StarCraft for the past couple of years, you might be unfamiliar just because Shameless is a newer player to the scene. But he did hit the pro scene in 2024, beginning of 2024, so it's been about over a year, and Shameless has been rising through the ranks quite quickly amongst the European Protoss scene specifically. Has been excelling quite well. We cast him quite regularly, so if you want to see some more Shameless, we have like what, hundreds of, maybe not hundreds, like, we have tens of VODs on YouTube over the past year of StarCraft. Year and a half even. Shameless, he's very young. I would say he's 18 right now, right? I want to say he turned 18 at the start of the year. So now he does get on top of the tanks. Tank's going to be going down. Nice pickups. He gets one, gets both tanks. Oh, but alas, there's nothing left. Yeah, there's no Zealots remaining here. Did get the tanks to the Lion Army. Does send forward. It's still going to be a clutch hold here for Shameless as he bleeds out more Zealots. And looks like Shameless, he barely doesn't have enough. Unfortunately, no shield batteries, no defensive setup here. And with that, GG gets called. ByuN, he breaks through that defensive line, and ByuN, he takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. ByuN does take a lead. But again, Shameless, he had a decent engage there, at least initially. Unfortunately, again, the rush distance by ground on this map is very short. Very short rush distance by ground. You can be even more aggressive, even more assertive here. And again, Shameless, he had no defensive setup at that third base. With that, ByuN takes a lead. Let's go. Again, ByuN is coming in as a favorite player here. Shameless has already caused one big upset so far. We'll see if he can cause another. That describes me pretty well. Haven't been watching in the past couple of years. I'll check him out. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, again, like, he's one of like the younger generation of European players. Like, when I think of like the younger up and comers, I think of Shameless, I think of Baby Marine, I think of GG Machine, I think of Eva, I think of Arrowfire as well. Again, as I mentioned, like, Shameless, he only just hit 18. I think this year, either this year or last year, he just hit 18. Like, he's very young. Not as young as GG Machine, but he's part of the wave of like the next generation of pros in StarCraft. He's part of the Zoomers pack. Yeah. These kids. These goddamn kids. Do I dare look? Is ByuN twice the age of Shameless? No shot. Not quite. But close. Yeah. ByuN's what, 32? Let's see. Yeah, 32. Okay. So not quite. Almost twice the age. Isn't someone turning 18 this week? Oh, there is someone's birthday this week. I saw it on Twitter. I'm sure it is. Hold on, I can look at the calendar. Jesus, there's a lot of people. Whose birthday is it today? Akeron, Full Heart, Neo, and Rostock. It was Neo's birthday. That's it, Neo's birthday. But yeah, Rostock, his birthday's today. How old is Rostock? I know Rostock's also quite young, right? No shot. Oh no, I shouldn't have looked. Rostock, he just turned 17. God damn it. Rostock, he's the Ukrainian Protoss, for those that are curious. I didn't realize he was that young. He just turned, either he just turned 17 or 18 today. His birthday is the 16th of July, which is today. But I don't know if it's, I think it's crossed over to the 16th in Europe. So yeah, Rostock, I think he just, happy birthday, Rostock. Happy, happy birthday. Just turned 18, there you go, there you go. But here we go, spawning in the right corner here of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right corner, we have the red Protoss player, the Protoss player himself, representing Team Little Fairy down in the series, looking to bounce back, looking to make a series out of this. It is Shameless. Friday GG Machine turns 16. Aye. It's crazy. I'm just looking at our birthday list. There's a lot of people's birthday this month. For those that are curious, we run the SE2 birthdays Twitter accounts. But we've been so, I will say that we've been really busy with StarCraft as of late, really busy casting and doing things behind the scenes that the Twitter account has been a little bit neglected over the past maybe like 6 months, maybe a year. So we'll get back on it, I'm sure, soon. We'll get back on it. But I still have the Google Calendar with all the players' birthdays. So see, this month is Harston, Maru, Snoot, his birthday is this month. Tenshi, Shino, Ranger, Azure, Alicia, Tails' birthday is this month. Dolan, sort of. Ollie's birthday. M. Canning, yo, the Can Man, his birthday. Shadown's birthday is this month. Sayar, Golden, Kalaris, Shakti. So those are curious. Again, there's a Twitter account called S2 Birthdays, which is manually scheduled, by the way. Which manually we manually schedule the birthdays for all the players on a yearly basis. We've been doing so for a couple of years at this point. Say a couple of years, for a long time now. And I have a Google Calendar with all the players' birthdays on it, which we also did manually as well. God, so many birthdays. But as we get into this, a big shout out to Son of Vulcan in the chat. God, my God, thank you so much, Son of Vulcan. Thank you so much for subscribing for 2 months. Thank you. Do appreciate it. As we get into our openers here, once again, we did have a double gas opener, Faster Factory. It was a tech lab on the racks into add-on swap into early Cyclone production out of our Terran player. And with this into an early Starport, this can go into another add-on swap. We'll keep an eye on ByuN to see how aggressive he's going to be. Last game, we went into earlier tank production, into an earlier stim push. We'll see what he goes for this time. Meanwhile, across the map, Shameless going for his own tech of choice, Twilight Council out of our Protoss. Twilight Council opener out of Shameless. Into Blink. Oh boy, and welcome one and all to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Larger map, more defensive bases, longer rush distance by ground. We saw that Shameless, he barely didn't defend in the last game, but here he'll have a greater opportunity to defend and to fortify his bases and to get into the mid game. do want to believe here that this map is going to be favoring Shameless if he were one that does really excel in the mid game instead of in the early game. Snooze, what a throwback. What a throwback, puppy. Yeah. But it is his birthday in a couple of days. Yo, Moro's birthday is next month? So I'm just distracted by the calendar. I was a big Moro fan. I mean, I was a big fan of a lot of these players. But now though, we are going to be selling. We do have an initial mine drop here into the main. So mine drop, there's the add-on swap as well. We were curious. Actually, sorry, no add-on swap, but tech level and star put into Banshee play. Okay, so remember last game we had early tank production into early stim into an earlier push. This time we have tank production, but Banshees alongside it instead of the rush into those bio upgrades. Okay, so the Banshees are amassing. Drop here outside of the bases. M Canning turning 31. Yeah, he's so young back. He's a year younger than ByuN. Crazy. Now then, ByuN does move out. We have Stim behind this. As he moves out, the Observer did spot this. Shameless is aware. You can see him moving out. Just try to engage ahead of time. And we'll see if he can slow ByuN down. Does come in from behind, trying to find a better angle. Ideally, he can catch that tank. Can he get him? Oh, he wants it. Oh, does blink in. Does blink in, and he will get the first tank. No, he doesn't. Barely not. Yeah, the tank does survive. So close. One more Stalker shot, he would have gotten it. Tank does live at the same time. We do have the drop into the main. Shameless does pull away. Does pull away. We'll lose 2 probes in the main base, and ByuN backs off. ByuN, he backs off, he retreats. He saves the tank on 5 HP. And just like the last game, he backs off and he's waiting for a later timing with Stim, with combat shields, with those upgrades. So ByuN is going to be forced back. As Shameless, he will be able to saturate his 3rd base. And as you mentioned before, like I do favor Shameless having a stronger early game here to be able to get into the mid game, and so far that is the case. So far he's looking a little bit more comfortable compared to game 1. And we'll see if that continues. Oh. Nice. Does bait at the mine shot. Pulls back into the main. ByuN does push to the center. Observer likewise does scout the army. Shameless getting ready. We'll see if this time he can get on top of the tank. Breaking in. Oh! Gets a Widowmine. Gets a Widowmine, pulls away. Collapsing the army, Zelda coming from behind. They at least try to. They try to flank. The tank boys here do target by the Stalkers, and it's going to be too much. Yeah, Zelda cleaned up the tanks. They hold their ground, and Shameless, he will lose everything here to the push. He saw it coming. He tried to engage, but alas, GG gets called. ByuN he overwhelms, and ByuN takes game number 2. GG. Does take the second game. Again, there was a lot of opportunity there for Shameless, especially early on when it came to the first backstab to catch a couple of key units. Imagine that push with 1 less tank. Imagine that push with half of the firepower of that tank line as well. That would have been a massive pickoff that would have maybe even deterred the entire move out of ByuN as well. But in the end, Shameless, he wasn't quite able to catch him. In the end, Shameless was trying to get ready here for the main push. The mine shots were a little bit brutal as well, and he was also coming in from really one angle. He tried to flank, but again, not the best angle of attack gank there from Shameless. Got shut down. GG. GG well played, and with that, ByuN does extend his lead, and now we're getting into game number 3, and I'm hoping for a back and forth. I'm hoping that Shameless can make a series out of this, but the pressure is on. The pressure is on, and things are looking a little bit more bleak here for Shameless. I'm hoping that we can go the distance. I'm hoping that we can get into at least a game 4, but we'll see if we can bring it back. Up next, we're going to be loading into Percival. Meanwhile, the upper semis is underway. We just got an update. Percival did take down Gerald 2-0 and is up against MaxPax in the upper semifinals. They are, of course, being covered by, I think, Dave? I think Dave Test is covering that series. Depending on the length of our series, we might be able to catch him. Might be able to catch him like game 2 or game 3. Or game 4. Or game 5. We'll get there. Now we're getting ready here for our third game. As a reminder, best of 5. But now ByuN is on match points. One more game is all he needs to claim the series. Here we go. Nerf should make Reaper action figures in ByuN's honor since he got them nerfed so many times. True. I always think that there was a lot of missed opportunities when it comes to like certain like quote unquote like merchandise. Like, I think the obvious one that I will always harp on is I wish when Gumiho was on Psystorm Gaming for, like, the years that he was on Psystorm, I would have loved a Gumiho towel, like a hand towel. Like, a Gumiho branded Psystorm Gaming hand towel sells itself. That would have been amazing. That would have been beautiful. But little things like that, that are iconic to certain players, like, I feel like there was a lot of missed opportunities, unfortunately. Smooch. Which was one of the best things about WTL. For those that remember, for World Team League, every season they would have pins and stickers, and they'd have a lot of references as well. A lot of references to the players and to StarCraft. I think, for example, when we competed, Vindicta Miguelito, he got his own branded sticker and pin and badge, I should say, and he was branded as Captain America. He had like a Captain America shield with the Ducklings logo on the shield as well. It was beautiful because of his performance in World Team League. Like little things like that. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next game. We're getting into game number 3. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Percival, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 2-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. It is a Shameless. Here we go. Are going to be moving out. I think that was something that the Korean scene was a little bit better at. A lot of the Korean fans would often make, for certain players, would often make a lot of cheerfuls and would have like a lot of things that they would hand out during like GeoSoul performances for players like Stats. I think recently Monotone Soon did that for I want to say for the X Team NV players. In this most recent season of GSL, which was really cool. Can I find that? Am I thinking of Monotone Su? No, I'm thinking of someone else. But yeah, like an old school Korean fan, like had a bunch of little sands and cheerfuls and fan arts of some of the X Team NV players. If it was Team NV, it would have been Maru. It would have been for Maru, for Bunny, Maru Bunny, SOS, and it would have been one other player as well. Maybe Nightmare. which would have been for Season 1. Maybe Nightmare. For now, though, Stargate. For now, we have our Stargate opener here out of Shameless. Mixing it up quite heavily, actually. Okay, well, Jesus, sorry, I was reminiscing on other things. But yeah, there's going to be a Stargate opener here from the side of Shameless. From here, going to an Oracle, potentially even just going straight into Phoenixes. Bold move here. This is really risky, especially against more aggressive players. And we're seeing quite a bit of strong timing attacks here from ByuN, so I am concerned here for Shameless. As behind this, ByuN once again going for the faster factory, delayed CC, going for the earlier Cyclone. And we'll see if he goes into Banshee once again, or if he does go into something a little bit different. My eyes are on ByuN. Phoenix first here out of Shameless. Bold move. Does open Phoenix. Cyclone is on the way. Takes down a second probe. And the Phoenix is revealed. Yeah, getting a third probe as well. Yeah, rough losses here from Shameless. Hellion into the mineral line. Shouldn't get much more done. Thankfully, it's cleaned up. And here comes ByuN moving out with his drop. Does move out behind this, going for a Viking. I mean, again, he did scout the initial Phoenix. Oh no! Scout the Phoenix, lock-on is brutal, and the Phoenix does go down. A rough start here for Shameless. In general, Phoenix openers do leave you very vulnerable to early game aggression, and even more so as Phoenixes are going down. ByuN is pushing. And ByuN is looking, hunting for another Phoenix. It's on the hunt. Shameless, we gotta calm down. Again, Phoenix openers mean you have that much less to defend. The upside is that they can shut down drop play, like Widowmine drop openers and Banshee-based openers as well. Like, there are certain instances where Phoenixes can excel. But here, right now, Shameless is in danger. As you can see, ByuN just rallies everything. He knows that his opponent is in danger. He knows that the opponent is vulnerable. Phoenixes are racing back. They are a little bit indecisive. Going back around. ByuN dropping into the main. Lock-ons here on the Phoenix. Phoenix does get away. And ByuN is loading up and dropping everything into the main base. There should be... are there enough Stalkers, though? Go for the medevac. Medevac does go down. But he does get a Stalker, does get a Phoenix, does get another Stalker as well. Down to 3 Stalkers. Ooh, down to 2. 2 Stalkers left. Not like this. Marines, they start to step in. They focus on the Phoenix. Phoenix is harder down. Stalker as well. And these trades are just far too efficient here. It gets into the mineral line. Probes are falling. And GG. Good luck gets called. And ByuN, he will take the series 3-0. Advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. There is a reason why Stargate openers are very out of meta. There used to be all the craze a couple of years ago, but in current meta, in current day, in current StarCraft, they are a rare sight just because you are so vulnerable to early game aggression, to these early pushes, to these early timings. Phoenixes, they can lift up a unit at a time. As we mentioned, they can do a great job at shutting down Cloak Banshees or Banshee-based builds. Likewise, Widowmine drops as well, but against something more dedicated, against early Cyclones, Marines, against that early pressure, that's where you can crumble. That's where you can crumble, that's where you can fall apart, that's where Phoenixes are less effective, and with that, GG. GG, well played. ByuN does overwhelm, does take the series, and ByuN does advance on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Really risky play there towards the end there by Shameless, and with that, we are now getting ready for our next series. Let's catch up on what has been going on. Let's figure out where we are. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look back yourselves. Let us have a look as we have some updates here. ByuN does advance on to the grand finals, and ByuN, he's waiting for the winner of MaxPax and Percival. Now, when it comes to that series, I believe that is being covered by Dave. I believe Dave Tesla is covering that series as we speak. I think they're in game 2, but let's find out. One moment. Let us find out. Oh, they're tied up 1-1. Let's go. So currently MaxPax and Percival, they're tied up 1-1. They're in game 3. Again, Percival, his best matchup is at TVP. This is where he can cause upsets. MaxPax is still favored, 100%. He's still favored, but Percival, this is where he can bring down some of the bigger names. Again, we just casted Percival take down Classic. That was in the Galaxy Open. Percival this week took down Gerald as well. I mean, took him down here in PiGosaur Cup and took him down over the weekend in Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. So this is where Percival can thrive. Oh boy, so best of luck to MaxPax. Again, MaxPax is still favored, but Percival, he can cause those upsets. And we'll be able to jump into game number 4, as they're currently in game 3. So they're in game 3. Go. So we are going to be setting up. Nurture would have been a good name for a brand of pasta. I guess. Yes, with that, we are going to be going on a short break. I'll also give you guys a link in the chat as well. So again, if you want to watch game 3 of MaxPax and Percival, bam. Again, Dave, I think he's the only one casting that series at the moment. Oh, they just finished. Never mind. They just got out of game, and I did not see who won that series, or who won that game. Sorry. It looks like MaxPax, he's leading 2-1. Okay, he's leading 2-1. And we're getting into game number 4. So we'll see if MaxPax can claim the series here and now, or if Percival can force the ace match. Let's go. Now, unfortunately, we missed out on the first 3 games, so we don't really know the kind of play that we've been seeing so far. I can make some assumptions here. For those that haven't been watching Percival as of late, he has been going for some very aggressive builds. I would be surprised to see Percival take a third. We expect 2 base all-ins. Like every single game, double gas opener into 2 base all-in, pull the boys. That is Percival's go-to in this matchup, and we'll see if that trend continues. As you can hear the beeps, we're loading in. Every single game, double. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Psystorm Gaming, leading the series 2-1. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Little Fairy, down in the series, but 1 game away from forcing the ace match. It is a Percival. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is a Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our TVP. Oh boy, let's go. Let us go. As we have in short openers, again, we're expecting, yep, double gas. Double gas here from Percival, double gas into a faster factory, into a faster early game aggression here. Especially on Ultra Love, the rush distance by ground is shorter on this map, so aggression is more favored. It comes down to MaxPax, his ability to read his opponent, to scout his opponent, to react, to respond, and to defend, to survive. Oh boy. Probe does dip in. Dip in, does threaten the SCVs. Does force a bit of inefficiency here out of Percival, as he's going for his factory. Oh, also, before I forget, I think Gamba time, right? Is it open? Yeah. So if you're in the chat, predictions are open, so you can place your bets. Of course, MaxPax does have a lead. We're jumping in mid-series. So that, of course, cannon will factor in. But I believe in Percival. I'm hoping for at least the ace match. That's what I'm hoping for. As Reaper does move out. Factory is on the way, going Reaper into Reactor, not into Tech Lab. Oh, hello, MaxPax turning the tables here on Percival, going for his own proxy setup. Okay, you have my attention. I do like this out of MaxPax. Instead of just being the punching bag here, he's gonna punch back. Ooh, going for his own gate. Gateway has been thrown down so we can reinforce across the map. Reaper does get one probe. Oh, does get a probe. Pulls away. Oh, as the Reaper is going to be shut down. Gateway is on the way. And back at him, it's going to be Tech Lab on the factory. We have a Cyclone in production going into the early medevac, into early drop play. This is all on one base, by the way. Oh my, I apologize. I just assumed there was a CC. Usually there's a command center after the factory, but this is a straight up starport here. One base all in. Very committed here by Percival. Very delayed natural. Assuming he even gets one. I mean, we did mention that Percival, like, he's always going for all ins. Like, like, getting a third base is a rare sight for Percival, but he's not even getting a natural. Doing one better. As here comes the drop. We have Tank, we have Liberator behind this as well. It is a one base all in. And so far, MaxPax still has to piece it all together. He is still working with incomplete information. For all he knows, it could be a CC on the high ground. So MaxPax not fully aware, but he does shut down the reinforcements. Yeah, Marine's going to be going down. He gets 2, he gets 3, he gets 4. And the army has to race back home. Pushing up the ramp into the Protoss. Almost stood us around though. Stalker's going to be falling. Yeah, getting 1, getting 2. 3 Stalkers going down. Nice target firing, getting all 4. Tank has arrived. Percival, he's trading with the army, but what's important here is, remember, MaxPax, he has a base. The longer this goes on, the better it is for the Protoss. MaxPax, he has an economy, and Percival does not. Right? There is no economy. There's no longevity here. The boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing for Percival. Oh, as the tank takes a lot of hits. Takes a lot of damage. There we go. Second tank has arrived. It's all MaxPax to slow this down. Oh, Liberator has arrived, okay. Does force the defensive warp in. So, oh no, the medevac! Medevac does overextend, bit of miscontrol there out of Percival. He will lose the medevac. He will lose the Liberator. And this is it. It is down to 4 Marines. Oh god, and he just targeted down the tank. One more volley, tank goes down. 1 tank remaining. Does focus on the Marines. Remember, there's no more medevacs. There's no support. And Percival, he's just running out of steam. He's running out of steam. There we go, the final tank. Oh my god, barely goes down. The repairs are crazy. But not crazy enough. Ooh, as the Viking falls as well, and there's nothing left. We're down to 1 Marine, GG, and MaxPax will take the series 3-1, advancing on to the grand finals. Whew, hi. GG, well played. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen a one-base all-in at this level of play. Again, we expect all-ins out of Percival, but I typically expect them on 2 bases. But hey, sometimes even on 1 base. Unfortunately for Percival, MaxPax, he went for a proxy gate across the map. That means that he had an extra gateway, he had reinforcements, he was able to apply pressure earlier and actually catch reinforcements and force a fight early on Percival's side of the map instead. It would slow things down and just whittle away at the army, losing Marines, losing tanks, losing far too much too quickly. By the time Percival got across the map, he had like 1 tank and 1 Viking left. Like, he barely had a standing army. GG. GG, well played. And with that, MaxPax does claim the series, and with that, we're getting ready for the grand finals. Here we go. We're getting into the grand finals here. It's going to be a best of 5 between MaxPax and ByuN. Oh boy. Here we go. We are getting ready. Now, when it comes to our next two set of players here, it's going to be a very different dynamic. I speak about this all the time. Out of all the Korean Terran players out there, ByuN, he's the most macro out of all of them. What does that mean? He's the player that's most willing to get a third CC. He's the player that's most willing to expand, get a third base, and build up into the mid game. Players like Bunny, Maru, Kyor, Gumiho, Ryung, Percival as well are much more aggressive and much more all in, much more committed. ByuN is aggressive as well, but again, like he typically doesn't pull the boys, for example. Typically doesn't pull the boys, not always, but typically doesn't pull the boys. Typically does expand behind his pushes. Typically does have kind of a longer and later game setup there, and because of that, he's actually quite unique in that way. I don't think there are many Terran players quite like ByuN. Even Clem is a little bit more committed at times. So yeah, we'll see how MaxPax can perform. These two, they do face off relatively frequently, especially in these open tournaments. Let's have a look at their most recent matchup even. Let's have a look. I want to say that ByuN did beat MaxPax recently. Was it in a PiGosaur Cup? I mean, we'll check. We'll find out. Okay, head to head. ByuN versus MaxPax. Was it during a PiGosaur Cup? Let's have a look here. It was during OSC King of the Hill, and yes, during PiGosaur Cup. During PiGosaur Cup as well. But this is still more heavily favored towards MaxPax. MaxPax, he does typically defeat ByuN. ByuN does take maps, it does take series from time to time, but typically in favor of MaxPax. So we'll see how our two players do perform, as they are going to be facing off. Oh boy. But yeah, that's it. I did see the match score from OC King of the Hill, which was, I think, last week. Correct? 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. But vetoes are underway, and again, it's vetoes for a best of 5. My money's on the Danish Prince this time, but we'll go to game 5. Ah, let's go. Yeah, as I mentioned, like, MaxPax, he is favored here. He is favored against ByuN. But likewise, I'm also hoping that we have a game 4, maybe even a game 5. I'm hoping for a back and forth, regardless of the score. That's all I want, man. That's all I want. Give us a series. As it looks like our players need some time. They need some time here to set up. So we'll be back. We'll be back in a couple of moments here. We'll be back in a couple of moments with our finals, with that final series of the broadcast. We'll see you soon after the break. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water. We'll see you soon for the grand finals. Let's go. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals, los grand finales here of the PiGosaur Cup number 40. Again, it's been a pretty short broadcast, to be honest. It's been a pretty short broadcast, just a lot of really short games. You know, we do get. That's what I'm looking for. We get spoiled. We get spoiled by Astrea's TVPs, you know, hour-long games, 2-hour-long series that we've seen in the past couple of weeks. But that was avoided here this week. Astrea, he got knocked out earlier on, and now we have a TVP between two very different kind of players. And we're here to determine our champion. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the ley lines, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, the Danish Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our best of 5. Coming into this, I do expect a back and forth between our two players here. I do believe that MaxPax is favored to claim this series, but ByuN does have it in him here to take maps and to take series, and we'll see who is in form. Who's in form here? ByuN has been on the grind, by the way. ByuN has been playing in everything, in almost all online tournaments. ByuN has been on that grind. We spoke about this, but we have different players taking different approaches to improving or to getting ready for Esports World Cup. There are some players that have been preserving builds and hiding their play and who have been inactive. I see a lot of people who have been hyping up Classic as of late, and I feel like a big part of that as well is that Hero has not been playing in anywhere near as much as he typically does. Right, Hero, he's been missing out on WhatDTV Mondays, on PiGosaur Cups as well, on other online tournaments. Like Hero, he has been keeping to himself. The same thing happened last year, for example. Other players, of course, that are a lot more kind of akin to that. Maru, several other players have been kind of preserving their play, but there are others that have been playing more, like ByuN. ByuN, he's been ramping up his competitive nature and his participation quite heavily. Rainer as well. Rainer, he's been playing a lot more than usual now that he's in Korea. He's been competing a lot more specifically in online tournaments than he typically does. So there are some players that do just grind that much harder. There are others that do hide builds. I mentioned before that ByuN, I feel like one of the reasons why he plays in everything and why he has been competing in more as of late is because he's very mechanical based. Like, he's very much so when it comes to his unit control, when it comes to his micro, when it comes to his mechanics, that is where he does thrive. So he has a little bit less to hide when it comes to his build of choice. And we'll see what form he's going to be looking as he does get into EWC. As ByuN's been getting some really good results as of late. Some really good results. Behind this, though, it was a double gas opener, faster factory, going into his 1-1-1. Interesting that he does not go for an early tech lab. We have a Reaper Hellion opener instead. This is rarely seen nowadays, as he does get spotted, and he will catch out the first 2 adepts. One adept does go down, now going for the other. The Hellion, does pull away. Does pull away in time, and with that the adept will attempt to escape. Behind this MaxPax, he has to fully wall up. Again, Reaper Hellion like this is designed to get economic damage. It's designed to get into mineral lines and to roast up some probes, and that's why we have a full wall here from MaxPax. He fully walls off. ByuN, meanwhile, does miss the adept. It does finally go down. But again, we have a full wall just to make sure that MaxPax is secure. Adepts are cleaned up, and that means that MaxPax, he does not scout the main base. He doesn't see what's going on. It is going to be Reaper Hellion into Cloak Banshee. Oh boy. So that's the plus side here of this build of ByuN, is that on the one hand, he gains map control, so he can hide his tech. On the other hand, he won't be able to get much damage done. Like MaxPax, he sees it ahead of time. He's ready back at home. He's fully walling up, but he fails to scout. That's what's important here. ByuN does look for a way in. Once again, just containing his opponent. Just building up his Banshees. The first Banshee does move out. We have a second Banshee on the way. as ByuN moves out. How many gateways are we on here? We have one gateway in the low ground, so 2-gate blink out of MaxPax going into his third base. Does go for the Prism, does move out. With this MaxPax, he can contain his opponent, but this also means he has that much less to defend. Back at home, what do we have? Nothing in the main, and, oh, okay, 3 Stalkers at the natural. He does have an Observer. The Observer's out on the map, now turning back around. Probes are going to be going down. At the same time, MaxPax does dive in. Picks up a couple of SCVs. 4 SCV kills. Nice damage here from MaxPax. Takes down 4 workers. As we just see MaxPax poke in, does lose one of his Stalkers. Pulls away. Pulls away. At least his scouts the move out. He's going to be able to slow it down. This is a very ByuN move out as well. Remember, he has no stim. Stim only just now begins. But he's going to be threatening MaxPax nonetheless. Banshees into the natural. They can one-shot probes. Okay, 1, 2 more probes go down. Banshee's still very healthy. ByuN, he does scout the third. MaxPax setting up for the surround. Yeah, coming from behind, does have the tanks, and ByuN should not be out here. Yeah, losing one of these tanks already, and we'll lose the other. Yeah, we come in for the surround. The Immortal comes from behind, takes out both tanks, and ByuN is being shot down. Also step forward, but loses both tanks. With that, the push has ended. Again, I was assuming that ByuN was only moving out to deter, to posture, but no, he went a little bit further than that, and did pay the price for it. So even though we have this strong timing ahead of us, now ByuN has that much less to work with, as he lost 2 tanks. So ByuN is going to be forced back. MaxPax has gained map control. Now going for the third base. Does spot it. And is hoping to force a cancel. Will delay. Will delay the expansion. Nice force fields. There's a cancellation. Ay, ay, ay. MaxPax is just all over ByuN. The Banshees have not done enough. Now going back in. Better damage. 4 probe kills. I say 4, getting up to 6. 7. 7 workers going down, going for another flyby here in the main. 8, 9, 10 probe kills. The Banshees, they're popping up. 13. 13? Jesus. 13 workers. Banshees, they get away. Scan in towards the third. ByuN, does he have enough to break through? Banshees, they pull back. 16 probe kills. Much better damage here from ByuN. Now he's stimming in. Remember, he has stim. The Prism! Oh! Prism is under fire. Does survive. But the army does stim in, and he overwhelms ByuN. He has done it. He has broken through. Takes out the Zealots, takes out the Stalkers. The Prism goes down. Cannot juggle. Takes down the Immortal as well. And ByuN, he has broken MaxPax. A very intense back and forth. MaxPax, he had a stronger early game, but ByuN with a stronger mid game. GG. ByuN takes the lead. Takes game number 1. Whew, GG, well played again. A really rough start by ByuN, losing 2 tanks, losing momentum, losing his Marines, and losing his third. Remember, he lost his third. Remember, his third base was cancelled as well. There was so much going wrong for ByuN, but what went right for him? The Banshees. Those Banshees, they didn't just kill 16 probes, which is a full mineral line, by the way, but they were also distracting MaxPax. They were actually forcing the Stalkers into the natural, into the main base, back and forth. MaxPax, despite losing all those workers, his entire attention was on that Banshee defense, so he wasn't able to set up at the third base, he wasn't able to slow down the main army, wasn't able to protect the third, and everything just snowballed from there. Whew, GG. GG, well played. A very intense game 1, and ByuN takes a lead. Let's go. Let us go. So we're getting into that next game. And we'll see if MaxPax can bounce back as we are getting into torches. Okay, torches for game number 2. As you mentioned, torches, we do see it more and more often in these best of 5s as there are less vetoes available. We saw it earlier in the semis, now we're seeing it here in the grand finals as well. Torches has a shorter rush distance by air, shorter rush distance by, I mean, there's it's its own map. We can there's gold bases, short rush distances, aggression is favored here. We do see some Stargate play from time to time on this map, so that's going to be a tempting kind of opener here for MaxPax. We'll see how our players do open up. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of torches, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shanghai Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Danish Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Psystorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. I'm surprised to see ByuN playing with this with EWC so close. As you mentioned, I mean, I think that comment was posted before we did talk about it, but again, ByuN, he is the kind of player that grinds and plays and everything, and again, like, his approach to preparation for EWC is different than others. Some players are more concerned with hiding builds. ByuN is not. Like, ByuN is not concerned about that. There are other players that are quite similar to ByuN in that sense as well, that just play in everything. As I mentioned before, like Raynor, he's been playing in more. He has been playing in more online tournaments, so now there's more information about Raynor out there than previously. Players like Clem, true, Clem as well. He's also still active, not here just because he's in Korea, but he does still play in the Woody TV Mondays on that regular basis. Classic as well. Classic has also been playing a lot more. And the other big grinder, actually more than the others, is Showtime. If you've been watching online tournaments recently, you would know that Showtime has been playing in everything, almost as much as ByuN. Showtime, he doesn't play in the NA weeklies like this, but he was playing in CSO Cup, he's been playing in Sparkling Tuna Cups, Woody TV Mondays. Like, Showtime has been very active. More than he was at the start of the year. So again, different players, different approaches in regards to how they prepare. Showtime has been grinding like Euromine used to. Yeah, like Showtime has been playing a lot. He's the one that stood out to me just because we cast everything. But over the past like 2 months, like Showtime, I want to say it might be even more, I think he's even more active than like MaxPax and Clem currently when it comes to like just how many tournaments he's been playing in as of late. Or at least comparable, right? Enough to be noticed. Enough to be noticed. Meanwhile, double gas opener here out of ByuN, going for a Rax into Factory. We saw that last game he went Reactor Reaper Hellion. This time he's going for an early Widowmine for a Widowmine drop initially, but the follow-up is what I'm most curious by. Hallucination moves in. MaxPax, he will check the opener, he will scout, he will confirm. Another reason why, I mean, you do have to rely a little bit more on hallucinations here is it can be more difficult to actually get your ground scout off on torches. Hallucination does confirm, does get eyes on the Widowmine drop. Tech Lab on the Factory is aware this can lead into an add-on swap, so again, we're going to be seeing it. We're going to be needing another hallucination after this. As MaxPax is going for a Twilight Council opener. Twilight Council into Blink. We have 3 gates in total. We should be seeing a Robo before Expand as well. Again, welcome to Torches. Torches has a shorter rush distance by air, has the goal base, just shorter rush distance by ground. Like this, there's just a lot of quirks here to the map that does kind of favor aggressive play, which I want to say is going to favor ByuN. Oh, has no Blink. He does face check up the ramp. Blink is not done. Bleeding out a Stalker already. Ay, ay, ay. Very nice start here by ByuN. Takes down a Stalker, dives into the main base, but alas, MaxPax is in position. He does follow the drop. Back at home, Tech Lab on the starport, but is not going Banshee, is going tank into Raven. So early tank production here by ByuN. Meanwhile, MaxPax taking his third base. That is a third before Robo. So greedy play here by MaxPax. Widowmine does borrow. Choke goes off, gets 2 probes, and even saves the Widowmine. Yeah, how big up here by ByuN does get away. Remember, Blink is not yet complete. Nice damage, but again, MaxPax is being greedy. Winding it back, when I say greed, this is a third base before Robo. Like, typically, nowadays, when it comes to standard play, we see a Robo first for safer play, but because of the hallucination, MaxPax did confirm he didn't need to rush into Observers, didn't need to rush into anything too crazy. Likewise, he opted not to be aggressive with a Prism early on either. He opted for a faster base instead. Now, when it comes to the base, it is faster, true, so we're going to have a greater economy, but it's an exposed expansion. Here, this low ground base can be very difficult to defend. As it's on the low ground, it's out in the open, you can, I mean, there's multiple angles of attack. You can even get a full 360 surround on this base as well. So, a bold base by MaxPax is what I will say. It's a bold expansion. Oh, Raven is deflected. Almost goes down. Nice positioning here from MaxPax. Behind this ByuN getting into stim. Cutting tank production early. Okay. Only 2 tanks. Again, typically, previously we saw him committing into additional tanks for a more committed move out, but here only 2 tanks, then goes to the add-on swap. This tells us that ByuN most likely, I'm expecting a 3rd CC. He's got +1 on the way, stim, combat shields. He should still be moving out with this upgrade timing, but I'm leaning more towards ByuN expand. We'll see. As ByuN does dip in. Threatens the mineral line, gets 1 probe. Gets 1, can he get 2? Oh, not quite. Barely not. Just gets 1. Behind this, going for the Bay, going for Colossus, not going into Storm. So going for a Colossus follow-up. Charge as well. I want to say delayed Forge. Do we have a... Okay. Forge is done, but yeah, delayed Forge, delayed +1. So much more tech-heavy follow-up here with a faster Colossus. It is much more standard nowadays to go into faster charge and faster upgrades into a more gateway-heavy style. That is not the case here for MaxPax. So faster faster Bay, faster Colossus. ByuN moves out. Getting caught out though. Ooh, the medevac does survive, and Stalkers, they get punished. Meanwhile, drop here into the mineral line. MaxPax out of position, does force a recall back home. And again, this base is exposed. We spoke about it. We spoke how difficult it is to save this low ground expansion. And here comes ByuN. Takes down the shield battery. No more shield batteries. No more defensive setup. Tanks do siege within range of the Nexus. And MaxPax is in trouble here. Yeah, he is in trouble. Zealot's going down. Tank fires here on the Stalkers. Ooh, massive volleys going off. And this base may just be broken. Takes out every single Stalker. Ay. Again, I don't blame MaxPax. It's just this base is so difficult to defend. On top of that, the drop did distract. Zealot's a breakthrough though. Takes out all the tanks. MaxPax, he holds. Whew, he does hold on. He saves the expansion. Did cost him 14 probes. His probes are still going down, by the way. So 14 workers go down, but MaxPax survives. Whew. Okay. MaxPax, he does survive. Still in our position. The medevac, does get sniped, but at a cost of every single Stalker. Once again, gets punished. The punish is real, and ByuN, he still has momentum. He still has momentum. Sure, MaxPax, he survives. Sure, he has a Colossus, but ByuN is not stopping. And ByuN did get a 3rd. We spoke about it, right? We spoke about the later Raxes. We spoke about the build of choice. So earlier 3rd base out of ByuN. ByuN is getting his own 3rd. He will have the better economy. Now he's rallying in with the 2nd army. Mine shots going off. 2nd Colossus has arrived, true. He's got 2 Colossus. And with that, he can hold on. Ooh, has mine shots are going up. Oh god, brutal connections. Takes out all the Colossus, all the Stalkers. The Colossus are exposed, and the Colossus are going down. GG gets called. And ByuN, he breaks the 3rd base. He breaks the low ground, and ByuN takes the lead in the series. Extends his lead 2-0. Whew. GG, well played. ByuN, he does take game number 2. Again, a very, very strong showing here. It was just a shaky setup there from MaxPax. He was being greedier. Being greedy on torches sounds crazy. Winding it back, if you remember what we spoke about, some of the generalities of torches is how aggression is favored. Short rush distance by air, short rush distance by ground, exposed bases, or at least exposed certain bases as we saw, and whoever does or whoever is the aggressor is going to have all that momentum, is going to have the map helping them, I should say. MaxPax was a bold move to go for a greedier start, to go for the faster third base, to go for the closest follow-up, but he was torn apart ahead of time. Losing the first shield battery, losing workers early on, losing stalkers early on, all that slowly did add up into a really rough defense at the third base. Sure, he got the Colossus, and sure, he saved the expansion, but he lost far too much in the process, got punished for it, and GG. GG, well played. Now, what I will say and what I should emphasize is that this game was also very specific. The turnouts, the conclusion of this game and how the game played out is also very specific to torches. There are other maps where it is easier to defend, where it is easier to stabilize and get into the mid game, and I do favor MaxPax coming into our next map. Up next, Tokamak. Let's go. Let us go as we're getting into game number 3. And meanwhile, a shout out to Supras number 91 Turbo in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. I'm usually a casual YouTube watcher. Good to see you on Twitch today. Cheers. Oh, thank you, thank you. I mean, we're on both channels. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We do stream on both platforms. I say both platforms. We actually stream on. Is it 5 platforms? We stream on YouTube, on Twitch, on Kick, on TikTok, and Facebook. Bam, we stream on all 5 platforms. But of course, the benefit of YouTube is the rewind feature, but also VODs. VODs are uploaded to YouTube on a daily basis. VODs are all there. They're all stored. But thank you. Thank you so much for dropping by. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft as we are jumping into our next game. Into game number 3, potentially the final game of the series. I'm hoping not, right? I'm hoping for a back and forth. I want to see a game 4. I want to see a game 5. And give us a series. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 2-0. It is ByuN. Calm down, Papi. Sure, I should calm down. I should calm down. As spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Storm Gaming. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. The pressure is on. It is MaxPax. Here we go, and welcome one all to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool, more defendable third base, defendable fourth base. Unlike some of these other maps, there's no way to go in between the bases. We have rocks here to protect the area in between the third and in between the fourth base. Likewise, there are more ramps, more areas where you can engage ahead of time to slow down a push, to slow down aggression. So coming into this, I do favor MaxPax's ability to get into the mid game. I'll be honest, so far, Game 1 and Game 2 have been faster games. And it's not like ByuN has been all in. No, by no means. Like, ByuN, he's been expanding, he's been getting a third base. ByuN has been building up into longer games, but his aggression has been top tier. Again, the mechanics of the ByuN, the drop play, the unit control, the engagements, ByuN has been popping off, he has been overwhelming. Momentum has been heavily in favor of ByuN, and MaxPax has to strip that away from ByuN. He has to slow things down. Has to calm down. Take a breath. Take a breath. But I do think this is a good map to start the comeback, for sure. As I mentioned leading into this, I do favor MaxPax here on Tokamak, but we'll see. We shall see. As we have, Fast Tech Lab. Hello. Okay. So Rax into Expand, Economic Opener into a Faster Tech Lab, add-on swap, okay, into earlier Cyclone. So Cyclone Opener here out of ByuN, but is more economic. So again, later Second Gas, earlier CC. For the first time this series, we have a Rax Expand, Economic Opener out of ByuN. Economic Opener. The earlier Cyclone is designed to defend, is designed to shut down this Adept and allow ByuN to expand. The downside of this build, though, as you can see, is 0 scouting. ByuN, he has seen nothing. No SCV Scout, no Reaper Scout, causes no Reaper, and no Hellion Scout, causes no Hellion. So ByuN, he's playing blind, he's playing very greedy and very safe as a result. I say safe, the Cyclone does help in the defense, but he doesn't really know what's going on. For all he knows, there could be a Stargate, there could be a Robo, there could be a proxy here at the third base location, there could be anything. ByuN is kind of playing it blind. as opposed to how ByuN will play it out if he had a Reaper or a Hellion. So ByuN does move out. I was checking his side of the map as it's being active with the Cyclone just to try to get a read on what's happening. Behind this, we have gateways on the way. We have a 3-gate blink setup here. Robo before third base, so very safe play here by MaxPax. Very safe. And ByuN is pulling back, pulling away. Behind this, going for his own Mind Drop follow-up. Widow Mines are amassing. MaxPax moving in. Does move in. Lock on the Adept. Oh, doesn't quite get it. Breaks the lock on. And gets the other though. Second Adept does go down. And MaxPax, these units are going to be hunted down here. Brutal lock on takes down the second Adept. Widow Mine Drop is on the way. And MaxPax will have that much less to defend. But he should be able to react in time. Oh. As it does boost in. Does go for the mineral line. And we see MaxPax, he does pull away in time. Oh, the retargeted, Jesus. Nice retargeting. 2 workers go down in the natural. Jesus. Oh, it takes on a Stalker as well. Not bad, but a little bit too greedy there. And ByuN, he will lose the medevac. And in the end, it gets 2 probes. It gets a Stalker, but he will lose the medevac in the process. So a bit of a back and forth trade. I do actually like MaxPax's position here, catching the medevac. Now he can move out. Behind this, oh, Tank Banshee. Tanks are on the way, which is standard. Banshee is on the way, which is not. So we do have a Banshee follow-up. Bit of a cheeky move here from ByuN. MaxPax can now freely move out. Ideally, if the medevac survived, then that would keep some supply back at him to defend. But there's nothing to stop it. Nothing to hold him back. Does begin. Tank fully going off. Late reaction out of ByuN. Yeah, late reaction. The tank will fall. Nice pick off. Takes down the tank. MaxPax does kite back. And it will contain ByuN. Okay. Does contain MaxPax. He lost 1 Stalker in the process. That's well worth it. That's well worth it for MaxPax. Catching out the tank. Catching out a Cyclone. MaxPax really expanding, getting his 3rd base. As we mentioned, like, this map is going to be favoring MaxPax, and he's going to have a much more comfortable time in this game, gaining map control, expanding, and getting into a 3-base economy. This is MaxPax's game. Oh, but he will lose the Stalker. Yeah, he was caught out. Does lose the Stalker. Banshee behind the mineral lines. Does hit the 3rd. Not too bad. Getting 1, getting 2, getting 3 probe kills. Getting the Sentry. Oh, barely does. Takes a lot of damage. This should be a one-way trip here as Blink is done, and the Banshee will fall. This is an okay trade. Gets 4 probes, gets a Sentry. It's okay. I think something that helps ByuN here, didn't get Blink. Sorry, didn't get Cloak, I meant to say. Cloak was not researched, so it wasn't the biggest investment into Banshees. But ideally, he did want a little bit more. As the Banshee does fall. MaxPax getting ready for a dive into the main. Getting ready for that dive. 3rd TC is on the way for ByuN. Getting his 3rd command center. Storm is on the way for MaxPax. Going to Storm, not going into Colossus this time. Not yet. Yeah, he blinks in, takes down 1, takes down both tanks. ByuN caught out in the open. Shout out to the Observer that was, of course, spotting all of that. And ByuN's being overwhelmed. Yeah, ByuN is being overwhelmed. He goes for a jump across the map. He has that much less to defend, and this game may just end here and now. Yeah, the bunker is going to fall. Diving on the Marines. We need some reinforcements here, but last, no Prism. Yeah, no Prism, no reinforcements. ByuN, he will hold on. Prism's in the main base instead, going for the depot. Stalker's back into the natural. And ByuN, he does get into the main. Probes are going to be going down. But there should be... okay, defensive recall. Does recall back home. ByuN, he can take this fight, though. No shot. Not anymore. Zelsay warp in, and MaxPax, he will shut this down. Takes down the medevac, it cleans up the army. And where exactly are we? As it does settle here, MaxPax is on 3 bases. He's on 52 workers. The Zealots are being cleaned up as he gets 1 more SCV in the main. And just 1 more. ByuN, he is going to be down in workers, and bearing in mind MaxPax now getting a fourth base is on the way. Storm is done. High Templar amassing. Storm is ready. And the supply is close, but the soup does lie, right? The supply does lie here. MaxPax does have more momentum. MaxPax does have map control, does have the greater army, and MaxPax is pushing. At the same time, ByuN moves out with his own double drop. Okay, does unload. Now, a lot of this comes down to the storms, because we do need some Zealot reinforcements here. The Stalkers are on their own. Yeah, the storms are okay, but that's a lot of storms here on half the army. Uh-oh. Yeah, Max actually does waste his storms, and ByuN, he can chase him down. Ooh, better storm. Better storm on the bio, but I believe that was his last storm. Yeah, that was it. that was the final storm. Again, he was just too trigger happy earlier. Now, thankfully, ByuN is not aware of the army, so the warp-in will complete. But at this point, we have a back and forth. Earlier, I was giving a little credit to MaxPax, and I was saying he had momentum, and I stand by that. But now he lost all the High Templar, forced to morph into Archons, drops them moving out. It's getting dicey. Now, MaxPax still has the greater economy, of course. And MaxPax does spot the drop. Does spot ByuN. Nice storm here on the main army. Gets a medevac. Yeah, and ByuN is still trying to recover here. MaxPax, he should be the first to max out. From here, he can tech up. He can start working towards a bay. He can start diversifying his splash damage into Colossus, into Storm. Raise him into the bases. And ByuN is somewhat in position. Yeah. Will defend. MaxPax moving in. He has how many High Templar? He has 3. Okay, 3 High Templar. So he has at least 3 storms. Does phase check. Oh, EMP's coming in. Nice EMP. Gets 1 High Templar, but there's still 1 left. Yeah, still 1 High Templar left. Storm goes off, takes down the Ghost. Oh, mine shots are brutal though. Yeah, they shut down the Zealots. Zealots are falling. Nice EMP on the High Templar. There's 1 Storm coming in. There's 1 final High Templar. Yeah, Storm is pushing forward. Storm does connect. But that was the final storm. And are there enough Zealots here? With these reinforcements, it should be enough. Yeah, MaxPax. Oh, the Prism is shut down. Warping gets denied. But he gets 17 SCVs. Oof. If it wasn't for the worker damage, then I would favor ByuN here. But he did lose 17 workers. Workers he can't afford to lose. And MaxPax gets another base. Another expansion. ByuN, he does hold. Does hold, has to go back to mining. MaxPax has 84 probes. He is at the ideal worker count, and there it is. Second robo is on the way. Bay is on the way. Second forge is on the way. MaxPax is taking up. He's getting further and further ahead. Again, it's just been a rough game here for ByuN. And from here, we can just commit to the base trade. Now, the base trade is maybe the best chance here for ByuN to like pull off some kind of crazy maneuver. But he's racing back. Yeah, he's racing back home. MaxPax moving in. Does catch us on the Ghost. Zealot peel off into the mineral line. Catching out more reinforcements. Another Ghost. Here comes a warp in. And ByuN, he has nothing left. He has nothing to defend. The army is racing back home, but it's barely an army. We're still waiting for the storms. Prism goes down. Here come the storms. Yeah, storms on ByuN. GG gets called, and MaxPax, he does fight back. He does put a point on the board. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Ooh, and again, as we mentioned, like Tokamak was the best map for MaxPax. I think some people, especially, I mean, again, especially people that maybe don't watch as much StarCraft, but maps, they do play a big role into certain playstyles, into certain builds, into what's favored, into what isn't. The reason why we did favor MaxPax here is, again, this map is favored towards players that are looking and wanting to get into a more secure base count, 3-4 bases, and MaxPax, he was much more secure here. The draw play was struggling to get damage done. He was getting a couple of workers here or there, but MaxPax, he was secure. He was able to punish ByuN, get all over him. GG. GG, well played. And I'm most curious by, ooh, the next map. I think you can probably guess what map this is based on my reaction. Coming up next, we're going to be loading into Game 4. Game 4 is going to be Pylon. Oh boy. Pylon is known for aggression. Pylon is not as extreme as Torches. Torches is probably one of the most extreme maps out there. Like, Torches is crazy. Pylon, likewise, exposed to third bases, short rush distance by ground. Once again, ByuN, his speed, his momentum, his aggression is going to be bolstered coming into Pylon. We'll see if MaxPax can keep up. We'll see if he can shut it down. The pressure is going to be on MaxPax. He has put a point on the board. He does have some momentum here, but we'll see how MaxPax will approach Pylon. Let's go. There's a lot to get into. Especially when it comes to how MaxPax approach Torches. For now, though, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 2-1. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Danish Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Storm Gaming. Looking to tie up the series. It does put a point on the board, and we'll see if he can force the ace match. It is MaxPax. Oh, let's go. We're going for the proxy. Speaking of aggression, I don't think you need to go for proxies like this, but okay, ByuN, he has momentum. We're on Pylon. Why the hell not? Proxy racks across the map. Oh boy. So the proxy has been thrown down. Now, when it comes to this proxy setup here, we'll see if extra gases are taken. Otherwise, it could just be proxy Reaper into a bunker on the low ground into delayed economy. This is not an all-in. Bear that in mind. Only one proxy, no second SCV. So it's not proxy 2 racks. So it should just be a proxy Reaper. The SCV can sit up here on the low ground as well. So we'll keep an eye on ByuN's setup. Meanwhile, MaxPax does scout across the map. He does see gases, he does see no racks. It is not uncommon to hide the racks in the main or in the natural or at the third base location, so it's on MaxPax to scout and to confirm. As he's poking back in, you can see he's getting further back, checking the base. Reaper is on the way, and the SCV goes home. Oh, okay. I assumed that the SCV would actually stick around for a bunker, but no, the SCV does come back home, so very light commitment. Very light commitment here from ByuN. It's not very committed at all. So going for the proxy Reaper. Factory gets thrown down. You can see here that MaxPax, he's scouting. Yeah, he's checking for the bunker. He's checking for the bunker. He's looking for it. There is none. And the Reaper does bust in. And we'll see how much damage he can get done. So fire pokes on forward. Gets one probe, going for a second, I guess technically a third. There's one worker to go down across the map. So 3 probe kills, Reaper does back off, second Reaper's on the way. And ByuN should be expanding from here. Oh, going for the tech lab before CC, okay. That should be for the safety cyclone. As Reapers, they're going to be deflected. MaxPax is holding on. Did lose 3 probes, so did sustain some damage here, but soon he'll be able to break out. He's waiting for the second adept. Speaking of miscontrol out of ByuN, he does stick around. He will lose 1 Reaper. And that means there's not much left to defend back at home. He needs that Cyclone. Cyclone is on the way. Adept is coming. And the Adept will delay the CC. Ideally, the Reapers, they wanted to keep tabs. They wanted to keep this Adept back at home. SCV goes down. Nice delay. As the Cyclone does offend. Now ByuN can expand. Reaper does scout. So it does confirm the Twilight Council. And here we go. Oh, okay. We're getting into our games. MaxPax is in a decent position. He's on 2 bases, getting another gateway, getting up to a 2-gate setup. Robo as well. MaxPax getting secure. When it comes to ByuN's follow-up, he should just be working towards a 3-1-1 setup. There we go, going for the Cyclone job. Honestly, there's quite a lot riding on the Cyclone job to gain map control, to pick off a Stalker and Adept, to keep MaxPax busy, while ByuN tries to recover. Oh, and it was a risky move out, no Cyclones to defend. SCV goes down. Oh, there's nothing at home. Yeah, there's nothing at home. No mining at the natural. Aye, aye, aye. So far, this proxy from ByuN just hasn't been worth it. It's not been worth it here, as he has 0 economy. On top of that, MaxPax, he knows that the Cyclones are missing. He's ready in the main. Cyclones, they get some economic damage. They delay mining, but that's all they get. I get 2 probes in the main. Gets 2 workers. ByuN is trying to recover. It's been a shaky start here for ByuN. MaxPax, yeah, he's not having it. Moves out. Blink is complete. He can dive into the main. There is a tank in position. There's some SimCity, but there's not really much to preserve it. Or not really much to support the tank. There's how many Marines? 8. 8 Marines, no stim. Tank goes down. Again, there's no support. Tank falls. And there's others on MaxPax. Yeah, he can just snowball into a win here. He can just cancel production. Tank is too far back. Marine's going to be going down. With good enough control here, MaxPax should not lose a Stalker. Ooh, 1 Stalker does go down. 2 Stalkers go down. And not able to pick up in time. But the Warpin does complete. He's just wreaking havoc in the main base. Catching out more SCVs. 5 up to almost 6. 6 workers going down. And yes, MaxPax is bleeding out some Stalkers, but this is worth it. This is more than worth it here. 7, 8 SCV kills. No mining at the natural. The Cyclones, they got shut down across the map. Aye, aye, aye. And we're looking to go to the ace match here. Like, MaxPax is looking to tie things up. Takes a massive lead. As he's still not done. And the reason because of this is the Cyclones. Where are they? They're dead. Like, the Cyclones, they went down. They went down, so there's no Cyclone defense here to support, to shut down the Prism. To chase it. GG gets called. There's no keeping up with this. And MaxPax ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. Whew, GG. And again, just a really rough game there for ByuN. Going for the proxy was a bold move, and there's a lot of downsides to going for that proxy. Yes, he got a couple of probe kills, but it also meant that he had less production back at home. He was heavily reliant on his Cyclone. It all began with the first Reaper. If you remember, the first Reaper died. The first Reaper went down to the Adept. Because the Reaper went down, Adepts, they were free to go across the map. Because they got across the map, they delayed the CC. The Cyclone was too late because the Reaper went down. Then we saw the drop play out of ByuN. We saw the move out with the Cyclones, but he was caught exposed back at home. Just completely shut down. GG. GG, well played. MaxPax, he punishes the aggression of ByuN, and now we're getting into the ace match. And I don't imagine ByuN's going to proxy again. Can't imagine he will. But we'll see. We'll see what ByuN goes for as we found ourselves in Game 5. And now I get what I wanted. Ace match. Let's go, baby. Let's go. We're getting into the ace match, and we're going to be loading into Ultra Love. Now, what I will say is that Ultra Love is also an aggressive map, also does favor aggression, short rushes, inspire ground. We've seen a lot of successful all-ins on Ultra Love, just like on Pylon. But, again, does ByuN get too excited? On Pylon, he fell behind before he could really get into the game. Here on Ultra Love, I'm hoping that he goes for a more standard opener, but we'll see. Here we go. As spawning in the bottom hand corner of Ultra Love, we have our South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion being forced into the ace match. He was up 2-0, but alas, has maybe gotten a little bit too excited in some of these games. We'll see if he can bring it back. It is a ByuN. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Danish Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. Fighting back, taking 2 games in a row. Momentum is on his side. One more game and he will become this week's champion. It is MaxPax. We go. And I'm just curious to see how ByuN does open up. Rax is back at home this time. Again, when it comes to Pylon and Ultra Love, these last two maps, I do favor ByuN if he goes into his own standard play, but he didn't do that last game. ByuN, he got a little bit too frisky, he got a little bit too excited, a little bit too crazy, going for the proxy, which it was not worth it. It set him behind more than anything. It caused mistakes, it caused damage to be done, and ByuN was torn apart. Here, double gas. Double gas opener out of ByuN, going for the faster factory. Going back to what he does best, going back to the opener that he went for in game 1 and game 2. Double gas. If you remember, on Tokamak, he went for a Rax expand, and of course, on Pylon, he went for the proxy. So here he's going for more tech-heavy starts, and we'll see if MaxPax can keep up with the drop play and keep up with the aggression of ByuN. It is what MaxPax struggled with in the first 2 games. And now we're back to that. Back to that style. If we were loading into Incorporeal or Magnatha, I would have favored MaxPax a little bit more. Again, we found ourselves on Ultra Love. So here we go. When it comes to Ultra Love, I would say that this map is more of a map of extremes. If you've been watching a lot of games on Ultra Love, I mean, it's been around for a while at this point, like a year. Ultra Love, either we can see a lot of all-ins or we see a lot of late game. This map is prone to being cut in half, just because the base layout and the map layout, a lot of these bases, it can be quite difficult to take bases from your opponents. There's a lot of choke points, a lot of points of elevation, so we have seen a lot of like 30-40 minute games on Ultra Love. But I don't know if these are the two players to really take it that far. If we were casting like Classic or Astrea, then I would consider it a little bit more. MaxPax less so. And ByuN, likewise, a little bit less so as well. Here we go. MaxPax does move out. Looks in, gonna be zoned away. Let's say that Death has arrived, and can he get on top of the CC? Takes down the Marine. Gets one, takes down the Hellion as well. Hellion does fall. And MaxPax will break through, but it's gonna be closer. It looks like he will not delay the CC. Yeah, there are enough units, there are enough reinforcements, and ByuN will hold. Did not go for the Cyclone defense, he went to Marine Hellion instead. Interesting. With that, he does preserve his gas. Tech Lab will finish, and does he go for the swap? Like, it's lined up for it. Yep, there it is. Add-on swap. Are we rushing into Cloak Banshee? Really, really greedy build here. I should say really tech-heavy build. Again, he skipped out on Cyclones to do this. That's why there's no Cyclone here, because he was holding onto that gas. Now, MaxPax knows this. Like, this is a tell. Even though he hasn't seen the main base, he saw the later CC, he saw the Hellion Marine, he knows gas has to be spent somewhere. There's a high chance, just from deducing what he's seen so far, that it is going to be Cloak Banshee. Technically, there could be fast tank production being hidden in the main base. True, technically. But, like, Banshees are going to be, I'm sure, on the forefront of MaxPax's mind. And does go for the Robo. Yeah, Robo has been thrown down. Getting up to 4 gateways. Ooh, okay. I like this. 4-gate blink here by MaxPax. This can punish. Remember, delayed Cyclone and delayed tank production because of the Banshees. So rushing into 4-gate blink, I mean, he can break ByuN. No bunker. Uh-oh. Yeah, no bunker here at the natural. Blink is not yet done. But without a bunker to defend and with delayed tank production, there we go, bunker's on the way. He needs that bunker desperately. Does need that bunker. Tank is getting in position. Banshee's on the way. And MaxPax, he is much more committed here. There we go, warping in 4 stalkers at a time. It's been a while since Steve MaxPax go for a 4-gate blink. He's going for it, he's going for the dive. Bunker's not ready. Yeah, the bunker is not ready in time. Again, ByuN, he was just so greedy here, delaying the bunker. Tank goes down as well. Oh my god, Tank survives. Ooh, Tank does survive. Ay, ay, ay. Big moment for ByuN. Bunker finishes. MaxPax, he almost broke ByuN then and there. ByuN is holding. Banshee into the main. Probe's going down. MaxPax is pretty all in, or he's pretty committed, I should say. He's expanding behind this, but he has to get damage done. Going into the main base. Tank flow is going up. First tank is going to go down. He gets one. Gets one tank. Oh my god, but he bleeds out a lot of stalkers. As he took even more tank shots to the face. 6 probes going down. Warping is denied. Does take down the tech lab. Just barely. Yeah, just barely. But ByuN holds. ByuN does hold on, and I'll be honest, I don't think that MaxPax has done enough damage yet. It's close, but he hasn't done enough. He's let out so many Stalkers. That was how many? That was 6 Stalkers going down for 1 tank. Like, that was not a worthwhile trade. Banshees are still being annoying, still getting more damage done. Tank is set up here at the natural. MaxPax tempted to blink. MaxPax, he's tempted. Does get behind the mineral line. Tank voice going off. And ByuN holds. Yeah, ByuN is holding. ByuN shuts us down. ByuN now claiming a 3rd CC. And as it all settles here, that was 8 probe kills, 6 Stalkers. MaxPax, he at least was able to get some counter damage, but oh, now he can one-shot. Yeah, ByuN can one-shot probes. 3, 4, 5 probes going down. Brutal damage. Oof. Even a kill, not a cancel. Oh. Banshee falls. Nice pick up. MaxPax does get one of the Banshees. But this is still crucial damage. Critical damage even, I should say. You know, MaxPax is still a lot of pressure on him because it sustains so much economic damage. MaxPax has to make this worth it. He has 16 Stalkers. That's a lot of Stalkers. And he may still try to break the natural. Ah, there's a tank on the high ground there. Yeah, there's a tank on the high ground. Observer gets caught. Keen eyes at a ByuN. Takes down the Observer. He's walling up. As he gets another 2 gets another 2 workers. Another 2 probes going down. Storm is on the way. Oh, ByuN with a miss rally. Oh, good. Yeah, it does miss rally. Bleeds out 4 Marines, 5 Marines. Yeah, just free damage from MaxPax. ByuN, we gotta calm down. We gotta calm down, ByuN. Ay, ay, ay. Este ByuN. We're getting nervous. We're getting shaky. Getting messy. MaxPax saving his 4th base. ByuN taking towards Ghost. 3rd base now on the way. We'll see if MaxPax can delay. As ByuN is breaking out. He's trying to. Tank is repositioning. ByuN, he wants that 3rd. Oh. Does get the Stalker. MaxPax, he confirms. He's now aware of the 3rd base. At the same time, getting ready for a Zealot run by. We have 5 Zealots here on the left-hand side. Main army's pushing in. Storm is ready. And how many High Templar? 4. There's 4 Templar inside the Prism. He's got at least 4 Storms. And with this Storm timing, he can break through. Oh, Ghost, they have to come down. 1 Ghost does not go down. Does scan. There's a Prism. Prism's moving in. EMP goes off. EMP goes off, but the Storms are still coming in. There we go. 1, 2 Storms. EMP connects. No more Storms. Yeah, no Storms remaining. The boys are being pulled. And 0 Storms left. And ByuN can hold on here. It's still going to be close. Yeah, it's still going to be close here. So many SCVs going to be going down. 20 SCV kills. And that might just be too much. Yeah, MaxPax, he breaks through. He breaks through the main army. Takes down the mineral line. You saw all the boys stuck on 1 Zealot. Some rough control there from ByuN. We had like 20 SCVs on 1 Zealot there. Ay, ay, ay. And MaxPax, he takes the lead. He takes the lead. Cripples the economy, pulls away. Ideally, he wants to break ByuN then and there. I mean, I say takes the lead. We're in an interesting position here. He got a lot of damage done, true. He got a lot of damage. He killed 21 workers. That's solid. Didn't kill ByuN, though. ByuN, he's going to be able to rebuild. He's on 55 SCVs, has a decent economy. Tanks are sieging. Ooh, they punish. At this point, I feel like MaxPax has to calm down. Like, he killed the mineral line. He has to just calm things down. Prism into the main. I don't think MaxPax has to push in. Like, we don't have to move into this. Zealous coming from behind. Main army towards the natural. Zealous, they get on top of the tanks. One tank goes down. The other tank does fall as well. Nice pickoffs. Gets both tanks. Yeah, ByuN was out of position. Yeah, it was out of position. The tanks were exposed. Okay, nice pickoffs set by MaxPax. Takes down 2 tanks, pulls away, preserves the High Templar, gets another base, and takes up into Colossus. Like, again, MaxPax, I don't think he has to commit into these armies. But at the same time, he needs time to breathe, not time to get into Colossus. Still very close. Oh. See, he's got 3 High Templar. Zealous, they head towards the 3rd. They get spotted by the Vikings. Speaking of, Vikings are amassing, so he's getting ready for Colossus. He's got 2, so it'll be 4 Vikings, plus 1 ship weapons on the way. It's still very tense. Still very tense. ByuN does head over, claims his 4th. Now, this is a scary moment. I was talking earlier how MaxPax didn't have to push into the 3-base setup. I stand by that. But MaxPax does have to contain and try and delay the 4th. The 4th base getting up and running uncontested is a scary thing here in TVP. And MaxPax, he will scout it. He is now aware. And MaxPax has to move it. Like, he has to be active in some way, either to punish the 4th or push into the 3rd or find a way into the main base. With a 4-base economy, ByuN, he will max. He will max out. And MaxPax just doesn't really have much to work with. I mean, he has been bleeding out a lot of Stalkers. Like, that I will say about this game so far. MaxPax has been a little bit careless with the Stalker movement. He's been bleeding out so many. Right now, it's mainly a Zealot army remaining. EMP's going off. Colossus have arrived. Here we go, Zealous here towards the 3rd, but ByuN is in position. And shows his EMPs. Storms are coming in. Oh, EMP does not connect. There's 2 High Templar. EMP does graze the army. Better EMP. Gets 1 High Templar. There's one Templar left. Storm into the mineral line. 7 SCV kills another Storm. Oh my god. ByuN does take the Storm to the face. Speaking of, there's still 1 Storm left, or I should say 2. There's our first Storm. We're waiting for the other. Another High Templar reinforces, and MaxPax is pushing through. Yeah, he's pushing through. Just starting back the army. Zealous coming from behind. Here come more Colossus. And just a shaky engage here from ByuN. The Vikings are popping off though. Yeah, Vikings, they go to town. They take down the Colossus. And there are no Storms left. No Storms remaining. Nice EMPs. ByuN holds. Whew. ByuN, he does hold on. Did cost him 13 SCVs. It cost him a lot of workers. But he does hold. He does survive. Does take the better fight. Again, a lot of those EMPs were crucial. And his 4th base is up and running. Like, that's what's important at the end of the day. Sure, he lost some workers, but the 4th base is up. That's what matters here. The goal for MaxPax was to either break the base or kill ByuN. Didn't do either. Did kill some SCVs, which is good. But MaxPax, he wanted more there. He did want more. More Colossus going to be building up, but Vikings represent. Jesus, we have 9 Vikings so far. It's a lot of Vikings. Again, they were preserved from the previous fight. ByuN scans. Where are the High Templar? Okay, they're further back. Okay. I was like, what's going on? High Templar, they're a little bit further back. Speaking of, ByuN is hunting for the Templar. Speaking of, Storm comes in. Nice Storm! Yeah, Storm does connect, but the Colossus, they're getting caught out. Another Storm here on the main army. First Colossus falls, so the second. Another Storm, though. Yeah, the Storms have been solid. ByuN taking almost every Storm to the face. Oh my god, the Storms are insane. Yeah, the Storms were they were critical there. Storms, they shut down the ByuN. Vikings, they will hold their own. But there's not much left on the ground. So many Marines, so many Marauders just went down here to the Storms. And saying that, 0 head Templar left. True. There's 0 Templar remaining. So there was a back and forth. MaxPax remaxing here. There we go. Does go for the Warping of Templar. To at least preserve 1 Colossus. Taking more bases. Taking more expansions. Now up to 3 Colossus for the first time. As typically he's been engaging with 2. Still looking for a way in. ByuN taking a 5th. Does scan. Again, there's 4 Templar with the main army. EMP connects with 1. There's still 3 Templar left with energy. So we can keep an eye on the Templar. Speaking of, ooh, High Templar does connect. Or Storm connects even. We have the first Storm. The second one mainly zones. And we have 2 Storms left. Here we have Storms with the Templar on the right. Does move in. Storm grazes the army. Yeah, not ideal. No Storms remaining. Now he can stim in. He can stim. He can win. Takes down all the Colossus. Trying to break through the main army. There's still a lot of Zealots, though. Yeah, a lot of Zealots. Vikings, they have to land. That's a lot of supply. That's a lot of... Oh, as they do catch Colossus. Okay. Yeah, Prism goes down. Colossus goes down. What about the ground army, though? That's going to be 22 dead SCVs. ByuN's barely going to hold on. The Vikings, they did not clean up. They got cleaned up. They got the Prism, but they didn't get the Colossus. Viking count is reset. No more Vikings. Oh, sorry, I spoke too soon. We have 4. Never mind. 4 Vikings coming in. That should be enough. Oh my god. Let's take another Storm to the face. Storms are popping up. More Vikings on the way. We're calming down. We're calming down again. Still very intense moments here. Very tense. ByuN, he's down in workers. Again, every time there's been a fight, he's had to pull the boys. Like, every time he's had to lose SCVs. And that is slowing ByuN down. Looking at the tower. Getting another base, at least trying. Yeah, ByuN is hurting here as MaxPax is maxed out. Even sprinkling in some disruptors. Let's go 1 disruptor with the main army. He has 2 Templar, soon to be 2 Storms, so not very Storm heavy. Instead, more reliant on Colossus and Disruptor. I mean, the Storms have been excelling, true. They've been popping up. As EMP, never goes up. Raises the army, Storm comes in, there's 1 Storm left, there's the final Storm. No more Storms remaining. Zealot into the natural. ByuN supply blocked. Uh-oh. Getting supply blocked. Main army's pushing in, but again, no Storms. ByuN does engage. Takes down one of the Colossus, takes down both. Both Colossus go down. Nova doesn't connect. ByuN defends his natural. Trying to engage, trying to move in. Still a very tough hold. As there's another Storm, we just keep warping in Zealots. Yeah, the economy here for MaxPax is what's winning him this game. He has so many bases, just such a great economy here, such a massive bank. So on the one hand, I would say that ByuN has been out trading MaxPax, true, but MaxPax, he can afford to have some inefficient trades. He can afford to throw away Colossus and Storm and Disruptors. As long as he's able to just get a handle on the economy of ByuN, then it's fine. As he has 2,000 minerals in the bank, he can just keep warping in more Zealots, and Zealots are becoming a problem. Up. Ooh, brutal Nova. Nova pops off. Another Robo's on the way. 3rd Robo here for MaxPax. Storm does connect. Oh my god, yeah, he does stand in the Storms. Medevacs so low, they're all going down. And these are brutal losses for ByuN. MaxPax, he has done it. Yeah, he does it. He breaks through the main army, takes out the Benevex, takes out the Vikings. GG gets called, and MaxPax, he will take the series 3-2, becoming this week's PiGosaur Cup champion. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very explosive final game here. I'll be honest, game 1 to 4, they were a lot more cut and dry when it came to early game aggression from both sides. Game 1, 2, 3, and 4, yeah, they were just a little more cut and dry, a little more obvious when it came to just the early game, the mid game. We didn't really get to sink our teeth into these two players until the final game. Like, what an ace match here. We actually got into a sort of economy. It was still very intense and very shaky, and that's what made it a lot of fun. If you remember, winding it back, we had MaxPax going 4 Blink Stalker, and it was a little bit subpar. Like, we saw him lose a lot of Stalkers. We had the Banshees pop off across the map, killing probes as well, keeping ByuN in it. He was able to barely hold on as well against the 4-gate Blink, able to claim his 3rd base. If you remember, we were talking about the moment where ByuN took his 4th, where he was able to establish his 4th base, but even when he took his 4th base, he was bleeding out a lot of SCVs. Like, MaxPax, he was able to engage, he was able to take these fights, able to kill 10, 15, 20 SCVs at a time each fight to make sure that ByuN never maxed. He got up to like 180, 190 supply at one point when he got supply blocked, but he never quite maxed out, never quite got into that final form. He was always trading and fighting and trying to survive, whereas MaxPax was able to mass expand behind it. And eventually, it got out of hand. It was still very, very back and forth for the majority of that game, but towards the end, he was able to enjoy the greater economy, able to embrace all those workers and all those bases, and eventually break ByuN. GG. GG, well played. Whew, but again, a very action-packed final game, and congratulations here to MaxPax. He does pull off the reverse sweep. Very impressive play here. I'm still thinking about that game on Pylon. Like, I'm still like, yeah, we did not need the proxy pack. Yeah. So ByuN just getting a little bit too excited at times, but regardless, it did lead to a very fun series, a very exciting series. GG, well played. Shout out to MaxPax. Whew. GG, well played. As he is going to be this week's champion. Congratulations. And again, it did go all the way to the ace match, to a fun back and forth. Shout out to all the competitors here tonight, not just the MaxPax, not just the ByuN, but also a shout out to Percival. Percival, of course, did make a series out of the semis. We had Shameless as well. Shameless, he calls a crazy upset. We all expected Astrea versus ByuN and maybe Astrea versus MaxPax, but no, Shameless, he 2-0'd Astrea in a very, very intense PvP, very short PvP as well, really fast games. If you missed it, I do recommend the VODs. It was very exciting to see Astrea and Shameless face off, but Shameless did cause that upset. And of course, in the end, GG well played. Percival also taking down Gerald as well to make it a face-off against MaxPax in those semis. If you're curious, this is a weekly tournament, a weekly open cup. It is at a more NA-friendly time slots. I know that right now it's really difficult for the Europeans to play and difficult for the Europeans to watch, just because of the time slot available here. But shout out to Pig for sponsoring. Shout out to Stegosaurus for, of course, running the event and for funding the event as well. So big shout out to Stegosaurus. Without Stegosaurus, this event would not be possible, so much love. And likewise, our next broadcast, and then likewise, is a weekly tournament, so every single week we are typically live with the PiGosaur Cup. I say typically, we'll see if it is going to be running next week because of EWC. We might be seeing some of these tournaments take a week off because of the Esports World Cup. Yet to be determined here, as we have the rest of our schedule. As you can see, we are going to be live tomorrow. We have a trifecta. We have the StarCraft Evolution League in the morning, we have the Pondcast in the afternoon, and we have OC King of the Hill in the evening. We just wrapped up with our Wednesday cast. As you can see on our schedule, Thursday, it's gonna be pretty busy. So back to back, we have 3 events on Thursday. We have more StarCraft Evolution on Friday, and we have Duckling Open on Saturday, Sparkling Tuning Cup on Sunday. That is our regular tournaments, our monthly amateur, and our weekly open tournament as well. So plenty of content on the horizon. This is this week's schedule, so if you see something that you want to watch here, but if you cannot watch it live, then check out our VODs over on YouTube. Check them out over on YouTube. Again, when it comes to tomorrow's broadcast, the Pondcast, that's our weekly talk show where we wrap up and talk all things StarCraft. OC King of the Hill is a best of 1 King of the Hill format tournament, and StarCraft Evolution League is a mod. It's StarCraft Evolution, not quite SC2, but StarCraft Evolution instead. Is a mod that does bring together Brood War and SC2 against each other. Oh boy. go. Just catching up. Just catching up in the chat. ByuN face tanking those storms. Sag. Terrans always think they can stay in the shower. Clem wasn't that like the plague. I would disagree with that. We've casted. I would say that Clem became a meme on the channel for a couple of months because he would take every storm to the face. Like I'm thinking like March, April, May, like earlier this year. Yeah, it was it got to the point where whenever a Terran player stood in storms, I would say, oh no, he's been watching Clem. Oh no, he's gotten better of it as of late, but for a good chunk of time this year, that was also Clem. Was also Clem's. It's a difficult time for Europeans to show, but MaxPax shows up. MaxPax, he's full degen though. There's a key amount of degens that do stay up until 5 AM to play StarCraft. MaxPax, Gerald, Nickrat, Clem, Skillis. The only reason why Clem isn't here is because Clem is in Korea. If he was in Europe, he'd be playing right now, 100%. But Clem is in Korea, so he's not able to go full degen to compete in this tournament. Unfortunately. But it's all good. But with that, we are wrapping up. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you appreciated the broadcast. Hope you enjoyed. And again, we'll be back tomorrow. Today, only one cast for us today. So we are going to be wrapping up here on the CranKy Ducklings. I am going to go live on my own personal channel. I rarely get to stream. I rarely get to ladder just because we're casting so much. And I have been trying to ease up a little bit on some casting just so we have more time to rest, getting ready for EWC. But today, may as well ladder for a little bit. May as well have a cheeky ladder session. Very rusty, just because we don't really get to play much StarCraft, but we'll be able to indulge and ladder a little bit of StarCraft. Otherwise, thanks for watching. And again, you can follow us on all the socials. We post whenever we go live, so Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, Blue Sky, Mastodon. All things CranKy Ducklings. Again, we upload VODs on a daily basis over on YouTube, so YouTube is the place to be. If you want to support us monetarily, you can do so via Patreon. Our Patreon is designed to fund our tournaments, so 100% of the money on Patreon goes towards our tournaments. It goes towards Tuna Cup, SDO, and MSO as well. So all that money goes towards the players. So if you want to support the scene, if you want to support the players, you can do so via Patreon. Eventually, we'll reach a goal. We can start playing casters and admins. But for now, it's all towards the prize pool. So you can support the players there. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. And we'll see you tomorrow for some more casting, as we have a big day tomorrow with 3 events back to back. Or I'll see you in a couple of minutes for some ladder, for some StarCraft. See you then. Gaha.